one sec. Let me turn that off. There we go.
Yep, it's.
There we go. Okay. Right, guys, welcome in. It's gonna be an alt stream. Rocky, Villain, my brother's coming. Right. Okay. Real quick on Bitcoin. Since last time we streamed, the targets we had, of course, were miniature stops at 1.414 and the 1.618, and our main target was the year-roll level now, right? Because as soon as that 382 came in, these were the projected levels, 121,413. We've hit that. We saw massive trap traders on trap longs rather, which gave us a quick flush here. But we've managed to reclaim into support, so we look ready to go on up ahead basically, right? That daily buy seller zone right over there is the one that's provided us with support. As long as we're above 119, if we get above 121 more specifically, I think 132 is next, right? We had price discovery, no signs of weakness, so Bitcoin, for all I care, it can keep on climbing. Like I said last time, my thesis was a blow off top, right? We talked about this for a long time. My thesis was a blow off top. I was very adamant on this, right? The most likely thesis being the blow off top. And the second most likely thesis, if the blow off top were not to occur, was a normal cycle scenario, right? The least likely scenario, in my opinion, was the delayed cycle scenario. So with that being said, the blow off top is what we've ended up getting, right? So the targets for the blow off top was always 121 to 132. Right, so we've hit 121. We can go up to 132. I don't really care. I said this last time and I expressly say this again. I do believe Bitcoin has limited upside potential here. That is still my thesis currently. Of course, if we were to break above 132 and we were to start closing above, right, and sellers were attempting to break down but buyers kept defending, then we'll have a very clear sign that we're probably going to keep on going higher. So you'd have the 140s and then the 150s, the 160s, so on and so forth to take into account. Until that happens, however, for now, this is deep extension as it is, right? From that bear market low now to this high, the 3.618 especially, I would not be bothered whatsoever if Bitcoin did not go above 132,063. Even if it topped out here, I'd be completely fine with that, right? At 132. What you want to see is Bitcoin go, right? And once it's done with the majority of its move up, you want to see consolidation. You want to see this go up. Let's say if 132 is going to be the top, go, and then you start going sideways, ranging, chopping up and down, creating a range, right? We want to see that as Bitcoin dominance starts to absolutely break down. For now, Bitcoin dominance is still in an uptrend, right? It's still in an uptrend. Now, every one of you should know this. How do we know when Bitcoin dominance has shifted to a downtrend to downtrend properly? We need this to be taken out. That's your earliest sign, right? When the last high low that led to the higher high is taken out, and then the lower high is coming in, and for now, let's say if this is the top, I'd want the lower high to come in around 64% for the inverted smiley. If we were to get something like that, then I could say with chest that Bitcoin dominance looks like it's probably topped out. I can't say Bitcoin dominance looks like it's topped out yet, because the fact of the matter is we're still in an uptrend. Right, so alts aren't going to go parabolic until Bitcoin dominance ceases its uptrend. So we need Bitcoin dominance to break down. We need it to shift trend back to the downside. And as soon as that first high, low, lower high is put in, alts off that lower high, whenever that may come in, alts will go absolutely bananas. Right, that's where we're in the parabolic phase, the banana phase of the market. Straight impulses to the upside. That's when it will start to occur. So keeping an eye on this, right? The last lower high the last high low that led to the high high is taken out and a lower high is put in. There's a much stronger argument for saying that Bitcoin dominance has topped out, right? Until then, we're still in an uptrend. We could put a high low in and just maybe get one more rate up to 66%, 67%. If you get above that, you have 70% plus. We can't write that off yet, just because we are still in an uptrend, right? So that's quick thoughts on Bitcoin. Of course, where we're rejecting off right now is diagonals. So if you were to look at diagonals real quick, where's it gone? Okay, I'll have to turn it on one sec. So let's look at all the different diagonal reasons for why we've topped out. First things first, in terms of this fib channel right over here, we front run the 786764, but that's not the main one, right? The main fib channel is the one from the last completed wave structure. We know that's this one. What we hit, liquidity raid of your golden pocket. Again, we can't be surprised. This is textbook price action, right? As soon as, remember, what is the inverse of the 1.618? It is the 0.618. Right, so as soon as that 0.618 was re-regarded as support and you broke above the 1, most importantly, and you confirmed the 1 to be support, your next target was always going to be the primary projection. That was the 1.618, and now we've hit the liquidity rate of that 1.618 as well. So in terms of this diagonal right over here, we have hit like deep extension, not like the deepest extensions, but we've gone into the deep territory. Right, we've hit the liquidity rate of the golden pocket, and that is what we are currently rejecting off of. Literally, the SFP came in where? At the actual 702, 707 itself, right? Then you had the bounce at lower levels, and now you're just going sideways. But we have hit some very nice targets on Bitcoin. So one can't be too greedy with Bitcoin here, okay? If you're new to the market, you're coming into this and you're thinking, oh, Bitcoin looks like it's about to go into price discovery. This is something I hear people saying a lot, especially newer people. Bitcoin's just entered price discovery. And while that's true, we can't forget it's been more than a year pretty much since Bitcoin's actually entered price discovery. Because when did Bitcoin actually enter price discovery? Price discovery was entered right over here. So it's not like we've just entered price discovery now. We've been in price discovery since 68997 was officially just done for in terms of like seller control, right? This entire move is price discovery. So it's not like we're just entering price discovery now, okay? And of course, it's that's got to be Chuk. I don't even have to look at the chat to know that. But from this low right over here, don't forget we are up near enough 700%. If I turn this off, 696% we are up. That is a lot, right? This is don't forget this is a high cap, the highest market cap crypto there is. So 700% returns within 3 years basically. That is absolutely amazing, right? So could we push higher? Sure, 130, so on and so forth. But for now, I'm going to say I still don't think we're going to get 200k this cycle. For now, I don't see the ETF inflows to support that. And another way I'm looking at it is who's going to be buying to actually take us to 200k, right? Because I don't see smart money top blasting all the way up here. I mean, they might. I don't know what they're going to do, right? But logically speaking, I don't see that happening, right? And secondly, okay, we can say retail's not here yet, right? People might say that, people might not. But even if we're quote unquote waiting for retail to come in, are retail really going to come in, see Bitcoin at 123,000 and decide, yep, this is what I'm going to buy? Answer is no. 99.9% of retail is going to be priced out severely, right? They don't even have enough for 0.05 Bitcoin of most retail on average, right? If you're talking port size, let alone one. So most retail aren't going to look at Bitcoin to be the asset to get into, right? Where they're going to go to memes, they're going to go to alts, which is why those are the ones that now have the actual risk to reward opportunities to give you now really nice moves up. Bitcoin, it gave you the opportunity back in 2022. It gave you higher lows to jump into. The last time I bought Bitcoin with size was down over here, 38k. That's my swing, right? My spot Bitcoin was all the way from down over here. I've not really entered any swings on Bitcoin since 38k. Right, yeah, there was opportunity to do so here, but I just took more scalp to swing mindset trades over here because I had enough size from down at these lows. There's no point sizing up over here for me as well. So just my quick thoughts on Bitcoin, right? But in terms of diagonals, right, we can see loads of reasons. If you look at the current Fib channel, which is from here, right, from this high to those double bottoms there, we've hit a liquidity rate of the range extreme, right? We hit the range extreme first, and we hit the liquidity rate of it. So again, very obvious target for that one there. But of course, the main thing that we always look at is the first speed resistance, fans, right? We still have intersections higher. This intersection hasn't been hit yet, but the most likely intersection right now is probably going to be like 142k, right over here. We still have this, but it's starting to diverge now, right? So you have a very limited window as to when to actually hit this intersection. If you miss that window, you might maybe even have a pullback to 111k sometime around September. We have that intersection lower, but above us we have by the end of July, let's say first week of August, so on and so forth, we have around 143, 144k, and if not that one, then end of August, let's say first week of September, we have 136k. If we are to go sideways before we go higher, that'd be the target. If we keep impulsing up, it could be that target we hit, right? Those are the two targets higher. But no matter how you look at it in terms of diagonals, right, here's your macro pitch fan. We've hit some very, very key levels, right? Even on the pitch fan, we've hit key levels. No matter how you look at it, we've hit key levels, and that's the important thing, right? We've hit some really, really nice extension targets to the upside. So Bitcoin's put in a hell of a move since 2002. Now, let's go and quickly look at total 1, right? Before we really do the alts, jump onto the alt section, total 1, right over here, 3.8 trillion. Above this, we know where the next targets are. 4.06 trillion would be first, right over here. That's this. We have a 0.382 retracement right over here. So 2.24 is at 4.06 trillion. 2.618 is at 4.23 trillion. 3.14 is at 4.47 trillion. And then 3.618 is at 4.69 trillion. And also within this box, we have the actual deep crab as well, right over here. XAB, that's 874, very close to an 886. C is pretty much a 0.5. Therefore D, 1.618, 2.702. That is an extremely nice deep crab. And should you choose to, you can also get an extension to the upside. We know the hop of the crab is at the 2.0, right? And this right here is within the parameters. In fact, this hop is very close to a 2.0, 3.618. So for a deep extension, I'll be looking somewhere between 5.3 to basically 5.3 trillion, let's say, right? For me, that'd be a euphoric target probably, but we'll see. I'll mark that at some point in the future, but let me just lock that in place for now. So for now, we're looking at the normal deep crab extension. If we go past that, then we're looking at the hop of the deep crab, 2.0, 3.618. That's going to be somewhere around 5.3 trillion on total 1. Okay, so that's that plus USDT dominance. Nice. We've broken down below the red box. We've broken down below the trend line. The only thing we need to lose now is this red line right over here. You lose this red line, you're going to take out a lot of liquidity to the downside. You're going to take out this. You're going to take out this. All of these become targets, right? And another way, by the way, for you guys to know where my Bitcoin top out, right? You know, if you get confused by fibs, if you get confused by ABCDs, you want to know where will Bitcoin top out in terms of historic price action. Don't even look at the Bitcoin chart. Go look at the USDT, USDT plus USDC, so on and so forth. Go look at these charts. I think lower still. Who remembers the USDT plus USDC chart, for example? Right? What we were saying was, if you top out here, all we need is a loss of this. My bull market target, top target is somewhere around the 886. Right? So that if should that 886 get hit, you know, I'm going to be taking that very seriously. Like whatever weakness comes into Bitcoin from there, I'm going to be like, okay, we might very well be very close to a top because we've hit such huge macro wave structures, right? So you can literally use this to try and figure out, even though you're in price discovery, where might Bitcoin top out, right? Use the USDT plus USDC dominance charts, so on and so forth, to help yourself with that. Now, we also have Bitcoin dominance plus USDT dominance plus USDC dominance here, right? Now you can think of this like a look at altcoin strength. So if this is showing you the dominance of all Bitcoin, USDT, and USDC, then logic tells you then we really need this chart to be breaking down. We want this chart to be absolutely breaking down, right? Because obviously for alt season, you want Bitcoin dominance dropping, and of course you want USDT and USDC dropping as well. You don't want people in stablecoins, you don't want people in Bitcoin. You want that liquidity to trickle down to your alts, right? So this is a very nice, let's say, almost like a meter, right, to actually gauge altcoin strength, right? So should this drop, that's good. But for now, what it looks like over here is it looks like bearish divergence on the weekly, right, which we had higher high in price, lower high in RSI. Of course, trend hasn't shifted yet, right? That last high, low, that let's say the high needs to be taken out, lower high needs to come in, so on and so forth. But once all of that is done, then again, this looks ready to drop to the downside as well. In fact, can we describe this using, is that a 566? It is. Yeah, you've hit a bearish bat. Right, there you go. That is a bearish bat in my books. There you go. 0.5 right there. 886 is right over here. So you've hit a bearish bat on this. So now you go down, you confirm it, trend shifts, so on and so forth. You know, you're looking for moves to the downside, right? You're looking for this from A up to the high for now. Let me turn some of these off. Let me just keep it very simple for you guys. I don't think 1.618 is going to be valid. I mean, it might, who knows. But for now, you know, you've got 61% and then you've got 54%, right? And if you lose that, of course, you might even get a deep 886, so on and so forth. But yeah, this, one of the precursor to altcoin strength, right? If you think you've missed out, you really haven't. Look, like, we're gonna go parabolic when shit like this. This is what we're after right here, right? If you were around in 2021, you know what this was. This was your pull your money into anything, it's gonna fucking rip up season. This is what we're after, right? We're just at the starting legs of that. Trend hasn't even been confirmed as shifted yet, so there's still time, right? If you see any flushes, any pullbacks to higher lows, to resistance flipping into support, so on and so forth, then that's where you basically add to your positions right now, right? Until the whole bullish thesis is thrown out the window, any pullbacks is going to be a blessing for bids, basically. But another reason why alts look good, right? So that's that. Let's quickly touch on ETH, because of course ETH has been absolutely ripping, right? If I go to focus and then we look at Ethereum, there we go. These bids from down over here, given in crypto chat, this is up 64%, and from the lows from April, where you guys, if you got in around April, which is basically around here, we are up. How much is that? I can't see. One sec. 122%, right? So that's more than a 2x from these lows. And if you only added ETH here, still like near enough a 2x. You can see we're not at a significant level yet. So even if you pull back here, it doesn't matter if you don't catch any shorts. Just when strength comes in, wherever it may come in, somewhere around historical price range 3 mid, so on and so forth, around that area is where you would, like, you know, add more size if you feel under positioned to Ethereum, right? And eventually your lenient target is 4,776. Your proper target is anywhere between 5,890 to 6,519, right? So a lot of upside for Ethereum, and of course this is good because Ethereum goes up, ETH BTC goes up. That's what altcoin needs. Altcoins need, right? So, you know, this is going to literally raise the entire market with it. So that's why, you know, you've also been doing well, because Ethereum has also been doing well, and it's very nice to see this, right? The amount of hate ETH was getting on the way down, even in this range, you know. Obviously, I can understand why, because Solana was outperforming, so on and so forth. But, you know, there was clear indications that Solana was the darling over ETH back then, right? Once these started dropping, and then Sol against ETH hit bearish harmonics, and you know, type 2'd into bearish harmonics as well, so on and so forth. And then Ethereum comes into this such deep discount levels, and then buyers are stepping in, right? All the price action is showing that buyers are stepping in. We know there's trap sellers. We know aggressive selling is not being rewarded. We have all of this. Then you no longer just say, oh yeah, this thing's going to go lower. The people who were waiting for triple digit ETH, right? For no reason. You're looking at this for the same reason why people, even though they got 15k Bitcoin, they were waiting for 10k, 12k. Right? Because, you know, it's ego. They think this line has to hit on your screen. They completely get hyper focused on one particular key level, and they completely ignore actual TA and actual price action analysis that's going on, right? Most people don't know how to read price action, and it shows. Because if you'd read price action here, it was blatantly obvious that seller absorption was going on, right? I pinpointed it as soon as the first week closed where that seller absorption came in, and that was literally the trigger where I said, okay, if you're going to get into ETH, use my strategy for macro swings, right? Or spot. People waiting for no reason for triple digits, again, it's just ego talking. They think they need to get their price. They think they exactly know what's going to happen in the market, and that's just not a good way to trade for this very reason, because those people are now left sidelined. They tried to short here, they tried to keep shorting here. Maybe they got paid on a lower time frame basis for whoever was lucky enough to catch that short top over there, which by the way wasn't a key level in my eyes, right? The main thing to do here was add on to your size, add more ETH, right? Most people again didn't. They faded it, and then, you know, they would have missed out on the 60% move up. All the shorts got blown out, and it is what it is, right? It's like most people hyper focus so much on just one or two lines on the screen they think it needs to hit. They completely ignore actual TA and actual price action analysis. But ETH's been strong, right? It's been, ever since this low was hit and the seller absorption started coming in, it's been very, very strong. So is there anything to do on ETH here? Hell no, right? You guys know better. Hopefully none of you are thinking, looking at this, oh, I should buy some ETH here. There's no point. Just wait for either a retrace to a key level or wait for the next resistance to get flipped. You're too close. There's no point buying ETH where we currently are. Right, there's no edge here. There were loads of edge down here. There was loads of edge over here, right? For the second edition I gave in crypto chat, there is absolutely no edge where we currently are. So what I'm hoping is we just get a straight push up towards 4,776 next. That's what I'm hoping. We just blow out everybody. There's going to be loads of people trying to catch shorts over here. I hope we blow them out as well and just keep fueling us higher and higher and higher. but ETH absolutely beautiful, right? So those were the big two and total, right? We looked at USDT plus USDC dominance as well. So let's quickly look at ETH against Sol, or rather ETH against BTC first, sorry. ETH against BTC looks absolutely fantastic. A lot of lines on this chart actually. Let me open up a cleaner one. There we go. Get rid old chart here. There we go. So we can see 886 has been tagged on the ETH against BTC chart. That is a bullish bet, and this is something we've been talking about for a long time, right? This harmonic, we've been talking about this for absolutely ages. ETH against BTC finally went and tagged at 886. I remember talking about this with Hoff literally back in like 2022, 2020, 2023-ish. For those of you that were in AR, I know Adam, you'd be there. I think, in fact, I think you might be the only person that was around in AR when, you know, Hoff still used to stream there with Sky and everybody, when I used to stream there regularly as well, bro. But yeah, me and Hoff were looking at this like literally back in 2022, start of 23, saying we've got a diamond top structure, probably going to get the 806 at some point, and then that's when you would really bid ETH, right? So this is years later, we're finally getting this complete. Validated for now, buyers are stepping in. I think ETH against BTC begins to run. So on the challenge account, literally like $160 or $170 was how much I allocated to ETH against BTC. I've not even used full position size yet, right? That thing's already up at around $700 right now in position size. So, you guys getting into Twitter beef? Yo, what happened? What happened? Right.
Well, I think what he's talking about was yesterday he called out Trader Soul or Soul Awakened Soul. Or
Oh,
whatever.
okay. No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So
yeah, I remember he was bear posting ETH to fuck. So I can imagine. I can imagine what the tweets were like.
He was shitting on PO3.
Yeah, that's the one.
And whenever it was a valid PO3.
Yeah, it's actually one of the best PO3s we have on the market right now as well. That's the funny thing on the higher time frame.
I know it.
Yeah. Oh no, chill. But okay, so ETH against BTC looks fantastic. Looks ready to rip up. I need to add more size to this because I've got a. That's the beauty about trading like I don't know how to call this, like pairs, right? ETH against BTC. I honestly haven't used much of my. Actually, I can put a screenshot in if I can log in. One sec. I need VPN first though, otherwise the HMRC is going to be at my door. So I need to connect to Iceland. If you're going to connect to anything, just connect to Iceland in terms of VPN. You can access pretty much everything. Alright, one sec. Yeah, here it is. So I can genuinely just show the entire here, right? So I put hardly any. So my balance is 174. This is the current size. Like I put fuck all into this into the actual ETH BTC just to show how powerful pair trading is, right? But let me put it into the chat right over here. So, and the funny thing is you'll see how much of the actual margin I've used. That's how powerful this is. It's high risk, high reward. But if I go here, right, I just need a clean higher time frame shifter structure, and I'm gonna put a big amount of size in, and everything will be Gucci. But this is literally the ETH against BTC on Prime XBT. Look, $174 size, right? Available margin 98%. I put fuck all in, but look at the profits, right? That's the total funds that I've gone in from the balance. So the actual P&L is like $600 and something. Just to goes to show, right? The reason I, even when I first did this, I said I'm only going to put like 160, 170 in to ETH against BTC for the challenge account. And the reason for that is because I know many people don't trade the actual pair itself, right? They'll look at ETH against BTC, but they'll trade either ETH or either BTC, but not one over the other. But I did this with a very, very small amount on purpose so that I could show you guys how powerful pair trading actually is, right? That's with $174 position size. Not position size, sorry. Total account size is 174. I've used less than 3% of that margin, and I've like multiple X the account. You can see that. And like I said, like Ethereum's BTC is just getting started. I just want to see a clean weekly shift of structure, something like a smiley face to come in over here, right? Anything like this, something clean that warrants me, that gives me a reason to allocate more size, right? I do that from 98%, that thing's going to go down to like maybe 30%. I'm going to open a big position size up, and since I'm already in profit, like as you can imagine, it's basically buffered, right? So if I go in the red on the big position, as long as I do not bypass the actual account original size, I'll still be in the green. So I can use the $600 profits I have right now to offset any pullbacks after I look for a tight RR entry, basically. But just waiting for that on ETH against BTC, just this thing could honestly like turn into like 5-figure profits. From $174, it could easily go 10k plus, right? If I get an opportunity to actually size up big. If I don't, I'm not going to size up big like a retard just because FOMO is kicking in, as you can imagine. So for now, what I'm looking for is a smiley face. You get that smiley face right over here. Something like this, right? Even a bit higher, somewhere within this region. Feel that that's where I'd get in with way bigger size now. But yeah, pair trading, as you can see, extremely powerful, because you know, trying to do that even just normally scalping, you're not going to do it. If you have a $174 position size and you're only using literally like less than 3% of your margin, there is no way on earth, there is absolutely no way on earth you are getting to, you know, you're getting to that level of profits, right? So this platform I'm using, this one's called Prime XBT, bro. I think you can do it. You can do it on Bybit as well, to be honest. You can trade the actual ETH/BTC pair on Bybit too. It's just not going to be under your typical crypto section. I think technically this comes under like commodities. Oh yeah, Bluefin. I don't know about Bluefin. I've not used it, so I know you can do it on Bybit, and I use Prime XBT myself. But yeah, pair trading is extremely powerful, and the reason I did this for my main account, like I said, I've got 5 figures into ETH against BTC, right? But for the challenge account, I just wanted to show you guys how powerful pair trading itself actually is. Because unless you're going into meme coins, there's no logical way you're using, you know, less than 3% of your actual capital to like, for what is that, like, you know, straight on my head, it's like what, 4x, something like this, 400% returns, right? That is, you're not going to get that anywhere else, right? That's why pair trading is so powerful. There you go. Oh wait, it is on Bluefin. You got it. There you go. Yeah, it's on Bluefin. Yeah. But yeah, just looking to size up big on this one. Just want an actual proper shift in structure. I could have done it here, to be honest, right? But I wasn't like, you know, on like, I was on locked in at this particular moment when this was happening, right? So, you know, I missed this particular entry, is what it is. That wasn't the best entry anyway. I want actual structure, like bullish structure to come in. Currently at resistance, you know, supply zone. Give us a smiley face. I will put more into ETH against BTC, because this going just to, hang on, for now, let's say that is the low, right? There's a high chance that is the low again. What are we looking for? We're looking for 0.04 first, 0.06 second, and I don't know if we ever get 0.13, but if we do, you know, that'd be lovely. But you know, I'm not even looking for much, right? If we get to 0.06, I'm happy. I'd more than happy to just close everything that's in the current account. So that's ETH against BTC. Extremely bullish on the long term. Right now is building structure. Structure's not yet fully built, but these are like the building blocks, right? This is the foundation upon which everything else is going to be built. So ETH against BTC looks really good. We want this to go up because this goes up, alts go up with it, right? So that's that. Now the other one I was asked to look at was Sol against ETH, and that's a very good choice. I believe if I go here, right here, we cannot be surprised ETH is outperforming Sol, right? This is something I put a while ago when it was happening. I put it on Twitter. I did it on stream as well. But we have hit 6 months ago now. We hit the bearish crab, okay, the deep crab 886 1.618. We hit that deep crab we hit that deep crab back in 2025, right? January 2025, pretty much the start. That gave us that move down, right? And then on that move down, we actually came up for a type 2, and the type 2 was pretty much a bearish bat, right? 0.5 on the retracement, 0.886 pretty much for that top. So you have two bearish harmonics lining back to back over here, which is giving you that move down now. Right, as Sol and ETH, like, plays this tug of war where one starts outperforming the other, you're going to get this sort of like up and down motion. But until now ETH properly tops out, I think this is going to keep going to the downside. Right, so type 2 is all the way down over here. 618 at 0.03992. So that is your Sol against ETH. Bearish, which is what you want, because we want ETH to go up, not Sol, right? We want ETH to go up first, and then that's going to take everything else up with it, especially after ETH against BTC goes up too. So that is Sol against ETH, right? So we can see ETH looks good, and again, ETH against Sol. We talked about this a while back. In fact, I swear I posted. It's probably, this is going to be in crypto chat somewhere. If you scroll up, it's going to be in crypto chat. Back in like January or February, I did post it somewhere. We have that breakout, right? That falling wedge breakout. We had the smiley face. I mean, it wasn't a perfect smiley face, but the general structure's there anyway. Above the B point, we know what happens. We're going to accelerate towards the 886. We're going to get that bat action magnetic move, right? It's not exactly a bat, it's a shark. But that 886, and above the 886, we have the 1.13. Both become viable targets. So for now, let's look at the 886 first, right? So ETH against Sol looks very, very bullish. All signs that you want to see. So that's those, right? So let me catch up to the chat. Let's see. So that's ETH against BTC done. Posting a plays on the challenge account. Are you posting a plays? Sorry, I've misread that. Posting a plays on the challenge account anyway. Yeah, we just go over it on stream typically, and also if it's most of the entries in the challenge account are the ones that's already in the alt section or in the chart dump section, right? So Sui, Say, Ondo, Aptos, they're all coins that's already in the alt section anyway. It's just those, yeah. So it's that, and then updates on stream basically, bro. Yeah, but the initial like entry, so on and so forth. If you go to the alt section on the left, I don't know if you've seen it, but under the alt section, that's where the majority of the alts that are played. LDO, for example, OP, ENA, Magic, TIA, Cetus, AKT, FET, right? Aero, Say, AVAX, Injective, Aave, Ondo. Those are all there, right? Between that and Weatherman Chart Dump, that's pretty much a majority of it. One-on-one. I'm gonna do it from Wednesday of next week, guys. I don't know if I'm gonna be. I'm on call for tomorrow because I do not know if the client that's looking to come in has made their mind up yet. They'll basically see. I'll need to talk to some colleagues, right? We get a lot of people from Rolls-Royce coming in. Both. We also get a lot of people from Bombardier. I forgot they changed their company name to something, but they're the people that build all the trains in the UK, right? Those coming in, a lot of people from Rolls-Royce, the ones that make the plane engines, the ones that make the cars, so on and so forth. They come in a lot as well. A lot of people coming from Toyota, right? A lot of people come in from the actual private hospitals and NHSs. So the client tomorrow, they've not fully confirmed it, which sucks a bit because if they told me I can go ahead and prepare, right? I can prepare everything before my staff gets in, just so it's easier for. But since they haven't said anything, like I do not know if I'm going to be like how early I need to go in, how late I need to go in tomorrow. It's for my restaurant, bro. It's see you soon, Adam, bro. Catch the rest of the recording whenever you get time. Yeah. But yeah. So, but from next week, for the next, hang on. So next week is what? Next week is still July. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pretty much 6 weeks straight, I should be able to do one-on-ones, right? I'll get everyone in like one at a time. I've got like 25, I think, different clients waiting to resume. So just bear with me. I'll get through everyone. Yeah, because after September for quarter 4, I'm going to be in Asia. I'll still have my laptop, so I'll still do group streams if something crazy happen. But for quarter 4, I'll be in Asia. So until I come back, there'll be a pause there as well after like in about 7 weeks time. But I'll have my laptop, so I can still do like group streams, so on and so forth. But Okay, so that's ETH against Sol. That's Sol. Okay, so let's go on to the actual alts, right? Let's blitz through everything. Let's go through our mains first. So, shall we do old charts or new charts? Well, let's just do it in this. It'll be easier. First and foremost, Aptos is a lagger. In compared to some coins that have moved, Aptos is lagging. So if anyone has a shit ton of cash, they're not entered here, they feel like, what should I put my money in? You might start wanting to layering into Aptos, right? Because risk management is super easy for this one. You can tell right off a glance. It's not really moved. So the Gartley we had drawn on, right here, the Gartley and the deep Gartley, of course those hit, we can see that, right, the 886 especially, Gartley and the deep Gartley right there hit, liquidity rate, reclaim, right, bullish engulfing candle, and then boom, entire target got hit in one candle on Aptos, came back down for the type 2, and then that type 2 was successful, which is what's now sending you above. You're currently above T1. If you want a really tight risk management strategy, if you start turning T1 into resistance, just cut your spot back, right? If you want now a longer term strategy, just start layering in, and until like $4.16 is lost, like, you know, you'd probably be okay holding. But now this is the problem, right? You know, all these plays, they were given way ahead of time. We were doing streams as these were happening, saying, okay, here's the deep Gartley, here's the Gartley, here's where you want to enter. Should you see buyers coming in, right? Should you see reclaims? So the entry triggers, they were met, right? The entry triggers were met, the levels were given ahead of time. If people don't pull the trigger at areas like this, yes, it's the scariest to pull triggers at areas like this, right? I completely understand, right? You know, I was there at 1.2 where, you know, you're in the red, you don't want to pull the trigger, it's scary. But the thing is, and the reason I keep saying, if you don't pull the trigger here, you have to be okay with the trade. The trade is, if you're waiting for green candles and better sentiment to buy, you're buying at worse RR. You can't have it both ways. You can't wait for bullish sentiment and sick RRs from the lows. That's just not going to happen. That's not the psychology of trading, right? When everything's down in the dumps, when no one's talking about it, when everyone's saying go to the lows, that's where you buy, which is for the last 6 months, particularly the last 3 months, I've adamantly said I'm not scalping at these levels. I think that just buying spot and holding or low leverage swing longs is vastly going to outperform in the longer term. The energy expenditure, right, the time you spend scalping at the area we were in particularly just doesn't warrant how much money you're going to make. You're going to make way more money spending way less time in the charts, just buying and holding. That's it. Right, that's what was said, stream in and stream out. And hopefully you guys can see why, right? Because there's been a shit ton of chop. But now anyone, right, especially for coins that have already moved, Aptos is an example that hasn't really moved. But if you now, for example, we look at coins that have started to move, AVAX, right? Anyone who didn't buy, for example, when the 886 got hit on AVAX right over here, right? We've said, okay, the next thing on AVAX, if the deep guard is lost, is the $16.18, right? And if buy step in there, that's the next area for a bid. If people don't buy here, and they're now looking to buy now, the problem is you are buying at a 42% increase in price, right? A 42% increase in price in the grand scheme of things isn't much, but in terms of risk management, that is another 42% you might be back down on your entry before you go higher, right? So this is why, you know, especially for, like I said, for the last 6 months, or especially for the last 3 months, I've adamantly said I'm not prioritizing scalping whatsoever. In fact, I've hardly scalped, or I said this many times, buying and holding spot and low leverage swings was the way to go. Right? Because now consider this. Consider you are someone that has no swing longs and no spot backs. Okay? Here's the problem. If you are someone that relies solely on trading every day for an income, right? It's nice when markets are going sideways. Once you start going absolutely parabolic, right? You start going up, trading is going to be extremely, extremely difficult. Right? Once you're caught in a moment where you're going parabolic and price isn't giving you a range, it's not giving you a clean breakout retest, everything is just saying fuck you, it's just keeps going up and up and up and up. It's going to be very hard to find like a really tight RR risk entry model, so on and so forth, as often as you would find it in a tight ranging market like this. And the problem with that now is you are going to, every single moment of the time markets are going up, you're going to feel like, oh shit, like I should be in a trade, oh shit, like, you know, what am I doing? I'm not in any trades right now. Let me go along something, so on and so forth. You're going to feel that FOMO, right? Because markets are going to be pumping, especially once you go parabolic. In a week, it's going to be going 100% plus, 150% plus, so on and so forth on some coins, right? When you have no spot bags and no leverage swing longs on there, that's going to be very, very painful, right? Because catching that on a lower time frame is going to be absolutely impossible. Very few can do it successfully in and out, in and out, in and out, right? Scalping in a ranging market is very, very easy, right? That's the preferred way to scalp. But if you have no spot and no swing longs, right, which I know many people don't, right? So many people are sidelined because so many people thought we're going to keep going lower, right? Which is why, you know, everything's been so quiet. Just notice the timeline. Notice how bullish we are. Notice where ETH is, where ETH against BTC is, where USDT dominance, so on and so forth. Everything we looked at is where BTC is, and then go and notice how happy the timeline actually is, bro. Hardly anyone's celebrating. because everyone's either blown out or sidelined, right? But now another better example of that would be SWI, right? We talked about this deep level right over here. Should you ever lose the standing deviation on value area high, right? You had 4 key levels, right? You had $2.91, $2.75, $2.60, and ultimately your main level, the 618 to the 1.618, the deep crab / the OG range standard deviation 100 from all the way to the left. Okay, this was the key level right over here. When we put these levels up, what we were saying was you're not going to go and layer in at every single level possible. You're going to wait until you see either a clean entry, right, with good RR, or you're going to wait until you see a clean, like, shift of structure again, you see a reclaim, a cumulative structure, so on and so forth. You didn't see any of that coming in at these key areas, right? All you were doing going sideways. Look, indecisive candle, breakdown, breakdown again. And then you finally had an area where, in terms of structure and in terms of where you were on the chart, in terms of key levels, in terms of harmonics, it made sense to enter. So $2.39, $2.36, that was a beautiful entry. But the thing is, if in moments like this, and when you go back up, bullish engulfing candle, take out the last lower high, the lettered lower low, and a high low comes in, you do not pull the triggers in moments like this. Even if you didn't pull the trigger here, if you don't pull the trigger in moments like this, you are now up 58%. Good luck buying here with a good RR. You're not going to do so. Right? Sure, you can still buy spots here, but now the question is it a good bid? It's not going to be, right? And as things go higher and higher and higher, there's going to be less and less and less plays for me to give out, right? Some coins still haven't had a big move up, which is why I started with Aptos. Aptos is still manageable for spot entries, right? But, coins like SWI, coins that we were looking at, we were talking about actively, right? You had a minimum window to get in where price action was showing you the things you actually needed to see, right? The reclaim, or the going from the left side of the V to the right side of the V, key levels being hit and a bullish reaction of it. If you don't pull the trigger at moments like that, simply because the timeline isn't bullish, then the trade-off for that is now that you want to enter, that everyone's turning bullish, the risk to reward isn't there anymore. So in terms of an actual trade, there's way less value in buying SWI at $4, right? Than you had at $2.58 or $2.36, so on and so forth. Again, this is why I said, when we're at these areas, right, just buying spot, low leverage swings is going to vastly outperform anyone that's going to be actively trying to trade the market, right? This is going to be true. This is going to hold true. By the time the cycle's done, spot and low leverage swing longs are going to vastly outperform majority, right? There might still be some absolute, savant scalpers out there that outperform simply by scalping, right? But that is the top, that's the creme of the creme. That is the top 1%. 99% of the people won't. Right? They won't outperform the scenario where they just bought and held, right? And again, this is why I kept saying, what did I keep saying? Survive the summer chop, be rewarded, right? I think the summer chop's been survived. Even if you get any more flushes now, right, it's just going to lead to higher lows. So I wouldn't even call that chop because the entries are already in. If any pullbacks now, if anything, it's just going to be amazing entry opportunity. So even if SWI were to drop back to $3.18, that is not bearish. That would simply be a beautiful area to buy again, right? And then, you go to your next phase up. So let's go through. Aptos looks good, right? Not had a big move up, still trading fairly in a tight range. So easy to manage areas for spot if you get in, right? Multiple ways you can manage your risk. You can do it literally around T1. You can do it around the mid, right? The B point. You could do it around the hold range. That's completely up to you, right? I'm not here to tell you how you should manage your risk. Risk management is 100% an individualistic choice. It's not for me to dictate for you guys, right? You look at your portfolio, your risk tolerance, your size, and you decide what's good for you, right? I cannot tell that for you guys. But what I can tell you is, if you want tight risk management, you're looking for basically a 382 to turn to resistance. If that turns to resistance, you might get pullbacks back down towards $4.83 and potentially lower if that's lost, which is why you wouldn't want to keep holding if $5.08, $5.14, for example, turns to resistance, right? If it doesn't and it keeps holding a support, then you buy, or rather, let's say you enter now, right? If you wanted to buy some here, you're targeting next basically $5.54 to $5.70, right? You're waiting for that to get above. You're waiting to get above this. That's the key thing on Aptos, because once you get above this right over here, $6.40, $6.52, if you look to the left, hopefully you see that is when you tend to go more parabolic, right? That's when, $9, $10, $11, so on and so forth come very, very quick. You might get some sort of medium time frame rejection at $7 because the 1.618 is there for the bats, but that's not going to give you like a top or anything. Maybe like a slight pullback to structure, to support, just to send you back higher. But yeah, that is Aptos, right? Very, very easy. Honestly, I'll just keep it tight. Keep it tight. If you don't know what to do, and you're not sure how you would enter, just keep it tight. That's the best example I can give. I'd rather you guys actively manage your trades and get the actual practice in than hold and be in the red and then sell. So for example, the reason I'm saying keep it tight is if you don't know how to manage your risk, and consider this scenario, if you don't know how to manage your risk and you don't know why I'm saying keep it tight over here, you might not sell here. You might not sell here, and then you might decide, oh shit, this looks over, and you capitulate to the lows, right? Typically that's what happens, only for price to rebound. So if you're going to capitulate anyway, might as well capitulate right over here at minimal losses to yourself, right? So actually, like, you know, many people say just buy and hold for beginners, and while that is true, if you want actual active practice managing risk, for me it's always have tightened validations, because at least that way you know what type of, you know, you're subconsciously building the ability to know what type of signs you're looking for in terms of buyers versus sellers, so on and so forth, in terms of structure around your key levels, to actually make that decision of whether you should sell or not, right? So I'd say if you don't know what you're doing, just keep it tight. If you look at this and you decide I have no idea where I want to put my risk, just keep it tight. Just keep it tight. That'd be my option. And then, you know, if you keep it tight and this is lost and you go down here, just re-enter somewhere down over here, re-enter somewhere down over here, right? You're gonna have to be more dynamic with your trade management, but that's fine, because you know the upside to that is that your risk to reward, your actual losses are extremely minimal, right? And you know, this is a byproduct of not pulling the trigger at the best RI areas, right? Which is, again, what is this? A smiley face, right? Right over here, you had a smiley face at, you know, 2024 12-month buyers on low at the Garley 786 886 area, right? The low risk entry was down over here. Now that you've had a pump up, again, like I say, what you trade for in comfort, you pay for with risk to reward, right? That's it. But that is Aptos. AVAX, we looked at this already, currently at resistance, very, very big resistance, as we can see. In fact, so big, yeah, right there, right? I forgot why I had put it down. Weekly seller zone from history, right? You can see tops, tops, tops. We do need to get above this. It's very clear support resistance. We literally had a cumulative structure come in here before, and right now it's resistance. So if you're not in AVAX and you want to buy some, very simple. You do not do anything over here. Nothing at all. You wait for that flip now. Okay, it's not too late, right? Don't feel like it's too late. Don't forget, we're simply back at areas where we were back in, like, you know, May of 2025 when we had that first impulse up. By no means is this too much. Don't forget what we are aiming for on AVAX. Okay, so if I was to switch here, don't forget what we're looking for on AVAX is this. Okay, so whether you buy over here or you buy slightly higher, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Forget about, oh shit, I missed the entry at 16. What's done is done. Okay. If you flip this, it's still a very, very good entry, because again, for AVAX, for this cycle, I really want to see at least $81 being hit. I feel like that should be possible, right? That's the primary projection of your smallest harmonic. Well, not the second smallest harmonic. The smallest harmonic primary projection is at $33. But I feel like, you know, this bearish Gartley at $83 to the primary projection of that pink, this is your deep crab at $81. That seems like a very, very nice target to have. And if you go higher than that, it's just a blessing, right? So realistically, it doesn't matter if you enter it at 16 or you enter that over here. So let's say you wait for that flip, right? If the flip comes and you buy and we go to $81, that is still going to be extremely nice returns on your investment. Therefore, at this moment in time, I'm just going to say exercise discipline, okay? Don't let FOMO kick in saying, oh shit, I didn't buy when I should. You know, and I feel like I really need to enter now. Nothing like that, right? You missed this entry, it's whatever, forget about it. You'll get another entry, right? So you either get that pullback to a high low over here to support, or you get that flip. One or the other, you enter, okay, on AVAX. Even after that flip, don't forget, you still have a long way to go up, right? So don't feel like, oh shit, I missed out, fuck this cycle up. You haven't at all. Also, don't forget, Bitcoin dominance is still in an uptrend, okay? It's not, you're still fairly early in my opinion for alts. Not as early as you could have been, but still, like, you know, nowhere to the point where you're going to go parabolic. You're not going to go parabolic until this gets flipped. Like, look, every time AVAX has gone parabolic, it's literally only happened after this has been support. Anyway, right? So you still have money to be made, so don't worry about it. So that's that. Let's look at Doge next. Okay, Doge M shape never gave us the full 886. It's what it is. After that, we had this bat that went down way lower. Actually, I don't know why this is the one up. There was another one we were looking at. We were looking at this. Might be in another chart, but what we were looking at was this right over here. What is this? Again, this is simply a bullish bat. Right over here. That's what we were actually looking at, right? below the 2021 12-month seller zone low, we were just saying, yeah, the bullish bat is the one to look for. So what we have here is a bullish bat. That bullish bat just gave us a really, really nice reaction. Again, the last lower high that led to the lower low has been taken out. So if you do get one more bigger flush, right, to let's say somewhere around 18 cents or something like this for Doge, then that'd be a really nice bid, right? Continuation bid to the upside. I think Doge does numbers, right? In terms of memes, Pepe, Doge, Apu, Brett, all of these I think are going to do really, really well. So I'm positioning each of those accordingly. So Doge, very simple. Again, at resistance. Now you guys look at this, you don't buy here. Look where you are. Very dangerous area for you to be bidding without confirmation now, right? So just wait for this area to be flipped into support. You've got resistance right above you, right? So you might as well just wait until you go and flip some structure into support. In fact, let me get rid of this right over here. And this must be a weekly seller zone that I put down. Yes, it is, right? That's a weekly seller zone from the past that I put down over there. So that's fine. So in that case, what I'm going to do real quick is, if I go over here and I go on Doge, I should have a cleaner chart. Okay, I don't. Never mind. Let's do this. There we go. We had this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this here. That was your type 1. That was your type 2 return, right? Type 2 return that gave you, again, a smiley face like we looked at it. And then that type 2 return is now giving you a high up. So again, we can't be surprised if this is where Doge decides eventually it's going to go up. So any pullbacks here on Doge now is a blessing, right? Your type 2 has been achieved. Primary projection is at 70 cents. We could very well go to $1 this cycle. Who knows, right? We'll have to see. I'm hoping we do. That bring the $1 Doge meme to reality, to fruition. That'd be absolutely amazing. But yeah, so type 1's already been hit. You had your type 2 return that gave you a smiley face. So now you're in your type 2 reaction phase, right? And again, that also gave us this bat we were just looking at right over here. Here. So you're currently rejecting off type 2, right? So if you do get a flush from this to actually properly retest 0.382 and flip it into support, right? Maybe we get again another smiley face here, who knows? If that situation were to pass, just make a note of it, put an alert up or something, and you're not in Doge, that'd be absolutely amazing blessing if you did get that Doge entry, okay? No guarantees it's going to happen, but if it does, it could be some sort of quick flush to take out late longers, and then we could go higher. So just bear that in mind. Okay, somewhere within anywhere within this region, basically. Just think of it like a zone. That's where you want your next high low to come in, because you've taken out the last lower high that led to the lower low, right? So that is Doge. Again, long way to the upside for Doge, right? Long way to the upside. Yeah, we can look at Floki in a bit, bro. Rocky. Eating as BTC, that's done. Hype at all-time highs, nothing much to be said, right? There is no point trying to short this, nothing. We're just rejecting off the again, for those of you that have done the diagonals lesson, you know what this tip and trick is, but we're rejecting off the current cycle projection, shallow retracement golden pocket, right over there, the 382. If you get into this zone basically, and for example $42 gets hit and is support, then yeah, just bid it. Because in my opinion, it's probably going to carry on going higher. It's full on in price discovery, right? Really strong chart. Yeah, so that's hype. Nothing much to be said here. The chart speaks for itself. You don't short this for no reason, right? Nor do you long this for no reason. You only long the retest of key levels. Otherwise, it's the boat has been missed. We're in from $9 if you took the original play, right? Still have my swing open from there. Injective. Again, that's area I gave in alt section. If you go and check it, pretty much that was the low, right? So we're still in that inch swing because the low's never been taken again. So I'm still in that inch swing. This one, as I described it in the alt section, is the exact same, right? There might be a bit too many lines here, so let me just turn some off. History resistance fan, for example, turn that off. Buy seller zone, reclaim is what it is. Butterfly, loads of wave structures, as you can see. 886 respected. So on a macro scale, if the 886 is respected, again, we can't be surprised if in the future we go and hit the 1.13. We know that is the primary projection, right? The reciprocal ratio of the 886 is the 1.13. So $58 seems like a very reasonable target for Injective this cycle. Again, Injective has not been tested in a full-blown alt season yet. It hasn't. Right? It did pass over here, but I mean, all this happened literally, like, it wasn't even like during like any sort of bullish period, right? It was just like an Injective was one of the select coins that popped off. I still remember I was in uni when I told my friends about this, literally down at like $1. It was about like $1.20 was my average entry from my original spot bid on Injective, and this thing made me bank, bro, so much. I still have one of my like Discord groups open, where it was just me and my friends in the past, and I go and look at that once in a while, and I just tag them because neither of them bought. It's like the clown emoji, just to mock it a bit, you know. But yeah, this one was such a good entry for Injective. So Injective's been nice to me in the past. Hopefully it can, you know, it can wheel it up again. So basically $60 inch, right? Let's keep it nice and simple, with the primary projection being at all-time highs, right, for the big shock. Again, where are you currently? You're currently at 2024 12-month buy zone low. So no aggressive buying here for no reason. You can see all the SIPs that happened in the past. Until you get confirmation of this turning into support now, you don't do anything here on Injective either. This is what I mean. Many things are now sat up against resistance. You don't just buy it, right, for no reason. Otherwise, Injective is another alt that you can definitely, like, you know, try your luck with in terms of trading, right? You literally see the structure. If I was to, again, if I go here on Injective, we even have historical price ranges, right? We hit historical price range 2 mid, we flipped historical price range 2 high into support, and currently you add the historical price range 2021 impulsive mid, right? And also 2020 impulsive mid. Both of those are support. As long as you're above this on Injective, right, this zone right over here between these two lines, you are going to be targeting this price right over here. That is going to be $17. Okay, so if you are wanting to take some sort of trade on Inj right now, it'd be something like this, basically. Actually, no, not that. Hang on. Risk to reward needs to make sense at the end of the day. No, you see, here's the thing. This is the problem with after moving from there. It's not a risk to reward of 3. And I'd want that minimum, so you're going to have to go down the time frames to find a cleaner entry trade. Vertical accumulation. I would want vertical accumulation to be tested. I think it'd be better if you did get a pullback somewhere in this region here. If we were to get a pullback somewhere here and it were to hold, that's where I'd bid. Otherwise, I wouldn't do anything on Inj now. The reason I'm saying that is because it's not like I'm trying to sound lazy, right? It's like I'm not going to waste effort trying to find suboptimal RR trades when the entry was there for a long time, right? The entry was there for a very, very long time. This was given in alt section more than a month ago. There's been plenty of time to enter on this, right? Currently, we're up against resistance, so if you can flip, as long as you're above 13.521, you could scalp this. As long as you're above 13.521, you can scalp to swing this if you wanted to, right? 13.521 to, so if I do this, for example, right? Settings, coordinates, 13.521. There you go. Here's your zone. You have a very nice zone right over here. Make a note of it. The low is basically around $12.75, right? 13.52 to $12.75. That is your zone. As long as that zone is support, feel free to bid Inj with hopes of getting it towards this and higher. If you ever go and turn that to resistance, just call whatever you have straight away, because until it gets reclaimed back into support, you can't be surprised if you get drops back towards $10. Okay. So let's take a look. We have Injective, Ondo next. Oh, I think this is going to do absolute numbers. You do not understand how bullish I am on Ondo. This is going to do numbers, bro. BlackRock is going to pump this to all hell at some point. Give me $5 Ondo, right? Give me $10 Ondo, hell. $10 probably pushing it, but 5, I could see that happening. Hang on, which one have I got? The proper Ondo entry. In fact, let's just look at it from here. Why not? The chart probably needs a bit of an upgrade, but let's see. Currently we are at diagonals. 0.94 was the low. We had a lot of M shapes here, right? So we had our PRZ1, PRZ2, PRZ3, right? For those that remembered, we got PRZ2 again, right? Back in June of 2025, that PRZ2 got raided, and then you got the bullish engulfing candle, you got the smiley face back at PRZ1, and that sent us higher. So the entry for Ondo was there, PRZ2, PRZ1 for the size up, right? Same levels we were looking at back since, like, you know, before even March, but I posted it somewhere around March, right? Right now we are at resistance once again, just like everything else, but the question is, how long is this going to stay resistance before we actually blast up, right? So if I turn this off, I can probably go and turn this off as well, just so it's not as messy. And at the end of the day, our higher time frame targets, right? If I go and turn off, why have I got one random? Right, this goes to harmonics current, and I'm only interested right now in the macro harmonics, meaning if I do this from here to here, there we go. $3 Ondo, very much in the cards, right? Once this again, remember, this has not been tested in a full-blown alt season. Ondo hasn't. It did this well, or when we had that choppy ass environment, we had that we had a macro environment that was very much against us, right? For a good time. So once everything's going right for Ondo, this thing can absolutely melt up. If you haven't added, where to add is the next question. So let me take this and let me move it to here. Let me go to harmonics current. Locally speaking, deep crab, we have the butterfly 1.414 as well, somewhere over here. I mean, to be honest, it went lower, however it quickly reclaimed, so I'll take that as a win. In this case, what we're going to say is we're just going to go from this peak right over here to this low right over here. You're above both your T1 and your T2, and in terms of this then, which is your most recent harmonic, again you're above both your T1 and your T2. I think $1.31 comes very, very soon for Ondo, basically. In terms of harmonics, like, you're above both T1 and T2 of these wave structures, right? And the only thing that's providing you with resistance right now is if I turn these off, again, this 382, 0.34, right? We have a lot of targets lining up for that higher area we're looking at, where the primary projection was. So I think Ondo has more gas left in the tank. If it doesn't and you come back, what you're looking for a clean flip. I mean, technically that looks like a sort of a flip already, but you're basically looking for a clean retest of this area. So if the weekly were to close like this and it were to make a weekly buy seller zone, right, and we were to be lucky enough to get that filled straight away, just say your alerts up in case it does happen, and that anytime this consolidation range is support, right, the top of it supports, you get in, right? So that'll be the bid, either that or you wait until now these swing highs here until their turn to support again, because right now where you are, you have no edge, none right over here. So that is Ondo. PAL, now this one, I put this in Twitter, and I didn't post it yet in our server because I was waiting for it to I was just waiting for the stream, basically. PAL, if you take a look at this, looks very, very interesting. Okay, you still have your macro 886, right? The harmonic is still valid. Then you had your BAT on the type 2. Here's your type 2 return. The type 2 return gave you a BAT. And you know, the hop of the BAT is all the way down at 0.029, but I don't think that's going to get hit anytime soon. It could get hit, right? Still, it'd be within the structure to get hit, but I hope it doesn't. So what I want to see on PAL is this. You go and properly turn the macro BAT 886/886. So basically between 0.108 and 0.128. You go and turn this zone into support. Only thing you need is a breakout from the falling wedge, because don't get it twisted, this is very much a falling wedge. Okay. You get that breakout, your macro 382 is 253% away. Your macro 618, i.e. your type 2, is 433% away, and should this absolutely catch a massive rotation, right, whether that be due to narratives or whether that just be due to because, like, you know, the composite man is done accumulating, never say never, right? 1.618 for the primary projection is 1,188% away, right? Now you'd be left with the moon back to try and target this. Like, you'd definitely take profits by the time you get to 618 if you see weakness coming in. You're not going to be greedy. After 433% pump, if you still haven't taken profits, what are you doing, right? But if you get above this, like, honestly, like in a full blown alt season, like, I would not be surprised if this got hit, right? So potential 10xer should this get reclaimed, which is why I really like PAL. I'll just dedicate, like, low leverage swing trade to it, basically, right? But yeah, PAL looks good. I like the look of it. Again, I'm not saying go buy right now. At the end of the day, like I said, the PRZ needs to be support, right? So the area between 108 and 128 needs to be support. But should that actually go and turn into support, then we are looking for those higher prices, way higher, all the way up over here. Okay. So that is PAL, something that hasn't moved yet, but don't expect these to pump straight away. The hierarchy is still BTC first, ETH second, high caps, mid caps, low caps. This is very much a low cap. Okay, so don't expect this to pump straight away. This, I forget whether this is I don't think it's a micro cap. It's either a low cap or like a mid cap. But yeah, bigger coins are still going to catch rotations first. We've seen it. Sweets pumped, Says pumped, AVAX has pumped, so on and so forth. This hasn't, right? Because it's just not time yet in terms of the the market cycle for coins of this caliber to be pumping. It's just not time yet. But PAL, keep it on your watch list, in my opinion. If you're looking for something that hasn't moved yet, you want to take some risks on, PAL is a good one. Say, my darling, absolutely beautiful. We have gone and hit the 1.618. In fact, 886, 1.618, right? There you go. We have hit the 1.618. The deep crap has been hit. This can lead to slight pullbacks, but again, if you get a pullback, and the first target would be towards 29 cents, in my opinion, right? That previous lower high right over there. Go flip that into support somewhere. If you rate even that, then maybe like a rated this low. But even if that happens, if you just put another high low in, say still going to be going higher eventually. Okay, so now it's just this is why, again, I'm saying if you're already in spot, which we should be, right? Swing long spot, you're not stressed at all, because it is honestly my belief that any entries from April through to June are probably safe, right? They're probably safe. Trend's probably going to be respected here. So, even if you get a pullback, just maybe rate all these lows. If you get a nasty enough capitulation wick, put another high low in, and then just keep sending it to the upside, right? That's what I'd be looking for. But again, you absolutely would not be buying, say, where we currently are, in my opinion, right? Because you can buy here if you want. You're not buying with an edge. That's the problem, right? You're not buying with an edge whatsoever. So a pullback would be very, very nice, right? If you want to bid, a pullback would be nice. I hope it keeps on going up, because I'm fully positioned in say already, right? I hope it keeps on going up. It goes, to 618, forcing people to buy and buy and buy, and then gives us a nasty wick for us to sell into, right? A big pump up for us to sell into, and then as the aggressive buyers come in and we see they're not being rewarded, we take some profits. We wait for that inevitable flush to catch all those people offside, just layer back in and just ride it up to $1.10, right? So on and so forth. That'd be actually picture perfect. And say also has a big falling wedge, right? Say it's another one of those that does have a really, really nice falling wedge. We have that falling wedge rejection right over there. In fact, you can just go ahead and do this. You could go ahead and do this, or you could just go ahead and do this, and you could just take it from like back over here somewhere. Yeah, something like that, right? Say it's also within a falling wedge. Breakout retest for entries. Basically, you can see that you're not going to mark it long here at the point of utmost supply, right? Solana, key inflection area. If the key inflection area is flipped, and more importantly, you break out from that resistance line, red line right there, you have a nice pump loading to 216 and perhaps the new highs, right? But again, you will not buy Sol where we currently are. You are chalked up against very fat resistance. Wait for that flip. Simple enough, right? Just wait for that flip. When that flip happens, just get in. Otherwise, right now where we are, no entries, right? Very simple on Sol. Don't need to spend long on that one. Sui, already looked at it. In fact, let's go back to this one for Sui. Right over there. Would you buy Sui here? Again, the answer is no. You have no edge, right? This is going to be the answer for some alts, because some alts have pumped harder than others, right? The first movers of the cycle, the darlings of this cycle, SWI, Say, and then AVAX, so on and so forth, right? SWI, there's nothing to be done here. There isn't. There really isn't anything to be done over here. Maybe you go take that demand zone out. Maybe you go and put a smiley face in around here, right? This would be a lovely smiley. In fact, I am just now noticing, but that could be a massive smiley face if we do get a pullback back down towards $3.18. So if we get that $3.18 pullback, just size up. Size up over there. Massive smiley face. That can take us higher. $20 to $40 SWI. Market now, I will not be surprised. Right, you got one log if you want to find targets on things that have been absolutely outperforming. There's some really, really nice targets to the upside. This is just linear. I haven't even put any extension targets up. There's a lot of nice targets to the upside on SWI, right? Just log's going to be a best friend for this one, trust me. But SWI, nothing to be done here. The only time I would touch this again is if we get that macro smiley face. Otherwise, I'm positioned plenty in SWI itself. Also, in its derivatives like Deep, like what's the other one I was in? Damn, I'll find it. Blob for the meme, right? So I've got a few SWI coins already, so I'm enough into the SWI ecosystem where I'll be fine even if I don't size up anymore. But I still will if it comes up, because I think SWI is going to be one of the outperformers, one of the best outperformers. So you know, you get a pullback, I'm just going to be adding more size. Is what it is, right? Trump crime season yet or what? I mean, honestly, like Trump doesn't look bad whatsoever. The original play, if anyone took it, that would have been stopped out. Do that, but you hit the demand zone. You have not hit the mid, but you don't need to hit the mid, right? At the end of the day, you're not going to do anything here, right? It's going to be a much better buy if you flip this back into support. But once you flip this into support on Trump, again, first target $12, but above $12, eventually you are going to go towards 24, right? 24, there's 46 even, should it choose to do so. So those are the targets for Trump. Flip this into support, we go higher. That right here. Same level we've been looking at for a long time. That buy seller zone from the 31st of March 2025, that sort of area here on the weekly, right? You want to go and see this flipped into support. Right now, he hasn't done it yet, so no entries on Trump. But that's majority of those alts, right? So let's look at Floki real quick for Rocky. Floki USDT. Have I got Floki here? Nope. It might be on master list though. Oh damn, I've got no Floki as well. That's the peak thing. Butterfly 1.272 was hit. Where even is that butterfly? Right here. 1.272 was hit. Where's the 1.414 then? Surely. Oh, that is actually so nice as well. I mean, you didn't quite hit the 1.414, but it doesn't matter. It's a front run, right? You had another key level. Your PRZ would have been between this and the 1.414, about here. Let me go and mark that down. This is one of my pet peeves when I like have something drawn as well, but no alerts as you can see on my screen. Especially like it's my Achilles heel, you could say, right? Not putting alerts in my own drawings. So half the time I literally miss the TA that I put down. This is butterfly 1.414. That was a really, really nice PRZ here. Yeah, well, let's take a look. Yeah, literally, I think we talked about this before. I must have talked about it with you guys. I was saying, like, look, if you get that smiley face, that'd be a beautiful bid on Floki. I didn't have alerts up, so I've got no bids. I am completely silent on Floki. I've got none. But this looks ready, bro. This looks ready to go. This looks beautiful. This looks absolutely insane. It looks good to go. Last level high, that little low clearly taken out. You're in a very strong uptrend. Macro. Right, let me do this. Let me turn those off. Right, we had ABCDs as well. So ABCD 382 and the 2.618. Right, we had those, and I'm sure this is a Gartley. Right, does it not look like a Gartley? It just smells like a Gartley. I knew I was smelling a godly. There you go. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful. You can tell because I spent a bit too much time looking at M and W shapes. Like, oh, that's amazing, bro. That's sick. I should do something like that because honestly, I'm the worst for having no alerts on my drawings whatsoever. And I wish there was a new problem. It's not. I've been complaining about this for a long time. I just like, I'll be good with it for a week. I'll be like, no alert, and then it just boom, just no alerts again. But yeah, Gartley to, in fact, primary projection might be hit as well. No, it's not hit yet, but it'll be close. Primary projection will be close to being hit. Yeah, primary projection's up over here. Yeah, it's a shame. There's no entry. I'm not gonna look at this because I don't want to do some sort of suboptimal play. Like the entry's missed for me. Like there's nothing to be done here because I don't want to sit there scalping flow key. Like, but if you did want to, here's your seller zone. In fact, I'll take it one further. I'll do this, and this area, as long as the mid is support, so on and so forth, you can look for scalp the swing mindset trades to the upside. Okay, here are your key levels. I'm literally doing it off that seller zone where the 8 points of the harmonic is. There, let's just put those 3 down for now. But yeah, as long as flow keys above this white box, it's gonna carry on to the upside. Otherwise, if we were ever blessed with a high low somewhere around this zone looks good, right? In fact, let's make it bigger. This zone here. Actually, no, let's make it smaller. This zone over here. That'd be a I don't know if this is gonna happen. I don't see why it would, right? Because that'll just be a breaker structure for no reason. But for now, the only thing I could see doing here is taking scalp the swing mindset trade. So if you want to trade something, Floki honestly looks like a good one. Even if you wanted to scalp it, looks like it'd be a good one in terms of where it currently is. Like as long as this is supports, eventually you're looking for that break to the upside. So you might be able to get a really nice scalp to swing trade off on this one. But yeah, Floki looks good. Okay, let's go to Focus V2 and look over the coins we haven't looked at. ETHFI didn't give us the red box, so it's peak. It's what it is. I was really hoping for the red box for a massive smiley face. We didn't get it. We might still get it, right? Eventually for a deeper pullback before we go higher. But for now, we haven't got it. I'm not in ETHFI, but otherwise ETHFI does look very, very good, right? Again, where you were. I noticed this one a bit too late. Otherwise, I would have alerted this one definitely with you guys when I entered ETH. Because when I entered ETH was originally when I entered LDO, OP, ARB, so on and so forth, right? GMX. This was just another project. I just didn't have the TA down on this. And I only got it after I'd already seen that pump up. And I was like, oh shit, we had a 2.24. We had a crab 1.618. We had a lot of nice confluence at these lows, right? So I missed this low. It's what it is. So either for entries, honestly, I want that red box, right? If I don't get the red box, I don't care. I'm already in enough ETH and ETH beta projects where I'm not gonna miss. Even if this does rip, I'm not gonna care because I'm in enough of others to take me like to make up for it, right? But if we do get the pullback to the red box, I would be entering some of this. Otherwise, if you were to ever flip this into support, right, or even do this and then flip the 2024 12-month macro bar zone mid into support, then those would be nice areas for higher time frame bids. For scalp the swings as well, you can anytime this is support, you see successful buyers defending 1.204, you can look for those scalp the swing mindset trades to this and potentially higher, right? So that is ETHFI. LDO. Again, I don't need to explain why LDO looks so good. These are old. I deleted them ages ago. I don't know why they're still there. Let's delete this too. Clear up some of this. Too many boxes there. Yeah, fine. Double bottom. After a weekly divergence, right? If I go to the weekly, you have a lower low in price. You have high low in RSI to a double bottom. High low in RSI, high low in MACD. So you have weekly MACD bullish divergence. We have weekly RSI bullish divergence. All our key areas. So LDO, honestly, in my opinion, it's just a matter of time until this goes. Like ETH is ripped, ETH betas will go. This is why I'm still holding my LDO spot, right? Held in red for a bit, back in green, back in red. Not fast, it's spot. Looking for, obviously, the first targets are going to be these for more local plays, and the bigger M shape, the actual 886. 618 T2 is at $2.72, and then the two projections is going to be at $3.64, and honestly, I think we can get this $6.15. I do think this is possible for LDO. I do think this is possible. Just go stop all of these cons out. All right, go take this. Maybe even raid all-time highs. Who knows? But at least raid all of these inner traders out. So $6.15. Wouldn't be surprised if ETH, like, you know, went to 6K plus, and then we started seeing that liquidity trickle down to ETH projects. Honestly, $6.15, fair game in my opinion. So LDO still holding my spot. Looks good, right? The weekly bullish divergence both on MACD and RSI. It looks primed in my opinion. It's just a matter of time. OP held the swing in this one in the red for a bit, right? At some points it actually got close to the liquidation level as well, because my liquidation level was down towards, like, you know, 36 cents basically, and you can see, you know, dangerously close. But I'm not capitulating down at these lows. When I'm in for a swing trade like that, I'm letting the trade play out, right? So back at break even now, therefore yeah, it's just in the green. Eventually you reclaim this, it'll probably go higher, right? OP again, it is a ETH beta, so as long as you reclaim this very, very key area we've got right over here, right, these PRZs, eventually it will be going higher in my opinion. So let's get rid of this. Yeah, so OP. OB in a big swing, OB swing as well, both for the challenge account, for my main account too. Smiley face played out. The Emmy shapes we were looking at, the deep godlies, the bads, so on and so forth, all of those played out as well, right? Literally, you ribbon down all the way to the 806 of the bad that we were looking at, and then you went and shifted structure. Last level high, that little low got taken out. High low came in at the deep godly 886, reclaimed it as support, and then you flip the 786 into support for good measure as well. So literally step lading your way up, and now it goes up. OB only goes impulsive to the upside above 55 cents. Okay, what we need to do is we need something like this. We need to go and reclaim this into support, some fat support, and then that is going to push OB to those higher prices again, right? But OB does have a massive falling wedge, right? In fact, I drew it somewhere earlier. Where was it? View it like this if you want. You can view it like this if you want, right? Big falling wedge on Arbitrum. No matter how you look at it, that's a very big falling wedge all the way back from 2023, right? So above this supply line, the next supply line for Arbitrum in a straight line up anyway would be all the way at 97 cents basically, right? It's pretty much a 2x in price here. So Arbitrum does look good. I just looking at the chart, no fancy indicators, nothing like this. Simple, even if I use just simple averages, right? Come on. Is it too young for the weekly? Let's go to the daily. It's literally, look, breakout, retesting, trying to reclaim his 200-day moving average. It's not done that in a long time. The last time I did this was November 2024, right? And that gave us a 74% pump. So if we can go and actually reclaim this, like, you know, above the supply line, 200-day moving average, flip to support, again, this has rooms to the upside. But yeah, Arbitrum looks good, honestly. If you haven't bid this, you're not going to bid it here. Just look, you're at a supply line, you're below such massive resistance. Just wait until this is support again, right? Just wait until this area gets flipped into support again. Once this is flipped into support, then you can enter fresh positions either here or add some sort of pullback to this area. I view this as mid-range, right? If we were to look at this as a range. So just wait for that flip or wait for that pullback. And of course, paired with ARB, GMX. Right, GMX we literally talked about last stream, right? So obviously I entered when that happened, and I'm still holding my GMX position. If you think ARB is going to do well, GMX look the same, right? In fact, you have really nice. You have a crab 1.618 an all-time low here for a nice PRZ, and you have, you know, if this is ever turned to resistance, I'm simply going to cut because we might get it dumped down towards $6, like we talked about, right? Could very easily happen where the 1.618 of the crab and the 2.24 of the shark is. So very easy invalidations here for GMX. But, you know, again, if GMX holds, you know, your type 2 is at $33, and if you break out, retest, eventually your primary projection could be all the way up to $71.57. Again, never say never. That's a 527% move from the entry that we did in last stream, right? Next, we looked at SWI. Underneath SWI, we have, first of all, Cetus, right? We were talking about that type 2. We were talking about the shark. We were saying if you get the type 2 and the type 2 successful, bid Cetus, right? So I have got my Cetus entries already, right? You know, back into Cetus on the challenge account, on my main account too. this is one of the nicest charts. Even though we got that nasty dump, right? As soon as that rejection was happening over here, I put it on Twitter, I put it in crypto chat saying, look, the next key area is probably going to be a type 2 return, right? We got the type 2 return, buys started to come in, the strength came in, and then after that strength came in, we now have a successful type 2 return, right? Type 2 retest. So now you're in the type 2 reaction. Right? We can't be surprised if CETUS absolutely bounds up way higher from here. T2 and above. I think I have a better chart for CETUS, to be honest. Right over here. There we go. That's what we're looking at. The rejection for CETUS was very nice, right? Because we had standard deviation 1.5. We had obviously the T2 itself 382, 4 and 4, right? And now for the type 2 return, even on the lower time frame, we have the shark, we have the 886 of the bat, so on and so forth. Like all of those key levels have been hit, right? So CETUS, you reclaim the value area low, or reclaim the value area high. Sorry, you just way higher. Type 2 is at 33 cents. 1.618 is at 75 cents. All these are targets. I definitely think if we goes double digits, right, $20 plus, $30 plus, so on and so forth, CETUS can easily go to these prices. Okay, very easily. Some extremely nice returns from those entries down over there, like a 7x basically. Deep. This is something else. So on the streams that we did, and also on the Weatherman chart dump section, what I was saying was anything basically deep value, 618, 786, 886, any of those pullbacks would be nice areas to basically look for any sort of structure to come in to bid deep, right? Structure here, falling wedge reclaim, 618 got hit, very easy area to actually manage your risk on deep right over here, right? So I am in some deep on the challenge account, on my main account too. And if I, was it this one? Only thing we had going for us was of course this massive pocket right over there, but deep right over here. So the next thing I said on deep was, if you're not already in on deep from from the 618, so on and so forth being hit, we wait for that smiley face to get in, right? We haven't got any sort of like viable smiley faces yet. It might come in, you're SFPing right now, we might hit 618 and then get a smiley face, we might not get the smiley face, right? If you don't get the smiley face, your next entry is probably going to be when this area gets flipped to support, right over here. Otherwise, if the smiley face does come in still, keep a watch for that smiley face because it hasn't happened yet, right? The smiley face has not occurred yet, so it would still be an extremely beautiful area to add on, size up on deep if you do go and get that smiley face. Okay. Well, we've hit the primary projection, which is nice. That was the primary projection of this, right? That bearish crab. Trend hasn't shifted yet though. If WAR comes down back to the 3.618 sort of area here, and it's a successful hold, I might add some, because you've taken the low, you've raided this low here. Yeah, the low's been raided. So I don't see the only other thing they can do from here is pretty much take exchange listing lows on KuCoin. Primary projection has been held. So yeah, I think WAR looks good, to be honest. Any sort of pullback to the 3.618 I think is a bid. Tight stop loss bid though, because I still don't fully trust it yet. Let's Heidel. I think Miranda was asking me to look at Heidel. I'm sure I did TA on this earlier in AR, but let's take a look nonetheless. Yeah, this is what I was saying. Heidel, if you look at the 6 month, here's your 6 month seller zone, right? 18.536. If you get pulled back to 18.536, this general area over here, right? And if the pullback holds, you add Heidel over there. For very obvious reasons. This is the area on the chart where you want to see that rate to reclaim. Because if the reclaim doesn't happen here, you're going to get that move straight back down towards 12 cents again. So this is, if you're going to bid, let it be over there. There's reasons why you might consider bidding over here, for example, because you do have seller zones on the daily, for example, over here. But if you start going and pinpointing every single seller zone we see, so well, I mean, we have 3 hours to this daily close, right? So here's the thing. Okay, Miranda, if you see this, and you're looking at this tomorrow after the daily's close, and this is closed above, you can add some size to Heidel on spot. I'd say on spot, no point leveraging it after it's already had a big move up like this. You're just putting yourself at risk of liquidity grabs, right? But if it doesn't close the daily above, this is voided anyway, but if it does close the daily above, then you can take a tight risk play somewhere around here. Invalidation would be if you go and turn this sort of zone into resistance, the 0.5 slash this grey box. If you break down and turn this to resistance, you would cut whatever position you added over here. Otherwise, if this closes above, honestly, this is not a bad place to add a hit out. You can see all these SPs in the past flipping to support could very easily send us higher. Now that SWI's going up as well. I missed this low here, so I'm not in a high down long from this low. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I'm not. I need to check through my main account because I've got a few trades open there. And for swings, I kind of just let it ride. I don't check on it regularly, so. But I'll take a look and I'll update if I am. But to be honest, I do like the look of that grey box because it's clear structure. Yeah, if the daily closes above this, that's your first trigger for a bid, Miranda, if you see this later. That's high down. What about scallop? Ooh, okay. And here's the thing, if you account for historical deviation, your stop loss is 20% away, right? Because that's all historical deviation right over here. I mean, in terms of risk to reward, it's still worth it, but 20% risk, is it worth it in terms of, is there even any reason to be in this project? What does scallop do? Does anyone know? I forgot what it does. I know it's something on SWI. Is it like a liquidity provider? I forgot. I mean, fuck it. I mean, it's a potential play here, right? If you guys wanted to try and take a play on this, like, you could do it like this. I probably won't take this, full transparency. I'm in enough SWI plays, but I mean, it could run, right? It could run. But if you account for historical deviation, your stop loss is like 20% away, basically. And if you accounted for this low, it'd be even wider. So, but I'm not accounting for majority of the historical deviation, not to the Pico. But if you want to keep it tight, well, that's very simple. You just do this, basically, right? 10% away. If you want to keep it tight, that's your stop loss, somewhere around there. But given that we've already had a few green weeks, yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I'd go with the wider one personally, but given that we've already had red weeks, this would probably be safer, like this. I'm not going to enter this, but if anyone wanted to, this is how I'd personally play it, okay? ENA, next. Historical price range mid, reclaimed, macro 886 held. ENA does look ready to eventually go up, right? I think the low is in for ENA. It's just it's going to be some more chop, but when it does go up, it's going to be violent. I have more than one chart for this one. Let me take a look. Right there. Macro point of control currently being flipped into support as we speak, right? Look, standard deviation 1 plus 1.5, standard deviation 2 value area lows, all respected. Held, you're literally chopping in between, you know, standard deviation 0.5 and 1 and 1.5. Above the, we've had a change, have we? Yes, we have. One sec. Hang on. There. So above this, next target is 42 cents. Above 42 cents, just understand where you are going. Everything seems to have shifted down, probably because, yep, same on the weekly. So I need to arrange all of this again. The only downside of volume levels on the macro is this, a lot of maintenance, because they change over time depending on the new data sets, so on and so forth. But it's so worth it because volume-based key levels are probably, to be honest, they're probably my favorite key levels, right? Volume-based key levels are so powerful. Everything's moved apart from standard deviation 3 as more and more trading activity takes place lower in the range. There, yeah, sorted. There we go, up-to-date levels. We just need to get above this. You have the one thing we've been contending with. Just understand, once we get above 42 cents, ENA is going to absolutely take off, right? It's been holding it's been in a chastity belt all this time, right? And you know, they finally unlocked it basically. Once this is support, this thing's going to absolutely pop. It's going to go up. Yeah, so ENA, I'm just waiting for that to happen. Waiting for that 42 cents especially. Waiting 42 above 42 cents. 77 is gonna come quick. Even look at historical price, it's gonna come quick. So just waiting for that really on ENA. Okay, so again, nothing to be had here, right? If the daily closes above the macro point of control, you might look for some scalp to swing like sort of plays. You could do so on the lower time frame too, right? You're looking for some scalp to swing mindset plays to the upside above the macro point of control. But I'm really interested in the higher time frame perspective of ENA, right? I'm not interested in scalping this whatsoever. So the daily close above is going to tell me that there's a higher chance we get 42 cents rather than like 30 cents again, basically. And if this is turned to resistance, that would be another failed attempt at the macro point of control. And then after that, we can maybe we go and fill that fair value gap, for example, right? If we do get that pullback, that'd be a beautiful smiley face. That'd be a beautiful place to add as well. In fact, that'd probably be a head and shoulders, but that'd be a nice. If you're going to get a pullback to this region, if you're going to flip this and then 70 cents, those are the two targets. If you get the daily close above, you can look for some tight RR plays to even 42 cents as well, because invalidation is going to be super, super tight. Your stop loss is just going to be beneath your daily candle retest, basically. Right. So that is ENA. Next we have Toncoin. Now Toncoin, I'm in this swing long. Again, like we were talking about last time, as long as you're above your like consolidation range highs, basically, which you are, you're gonna keep going higher. The only problem on Toncoin is right now you're up against supply, right? As you can see, you're up against supply. You have your supply line right over there, but that deep godly 886 1.618 and the primary projection, what is the primary projection of? It's the real question. What am I projecting? This right here, bearish harmonic 886. This is a bearish deep crab, right? The bearish deep crab primary projection has also been confirmed as support now. The deep godly extreme 886 has been hit. The deep godly's 886 and the 1.618 also has been hit. So honestly, I'm not going to be surprised if we don't get that macro, like 886 is on ton. There's no guarantees we're going to get it. We only talk about these levels if this is now officially going to turn to resistance now, right? If it's not turned to resistance, we're not going to get those yet. Now, if you do get a choppy July, right? If July ends up being choppy by the time the month closes, things like this can still happen, right? There's no 100% guarantee we're out the woodworks yet, but the likelihood of this happening right now is extremely, extremely low, right? Because in terms of TA, we still have loads of support. If this goes and turns to resistance, we can say, oh, well, the next move's probably going to be down towards $1.82. We can prepare for it. Well, while this is still support, while previous consolidation range highs is still support, we're going to be focusing on moves to the upside. So that's Toncoin. I wouldn't add where we are for obvious reasons, but breakouts and retest the supply line, and you can try and add a position over there. Okay. XMR, don't really need to look at this. I'm not going to add this on my challenge account. This is on my main account. Same on LTC. It's on my main account, not on my challenge account. Like the most simplistic TA, sometimes simple is better. And apart from that, it's just like a load of other coins. The only thing that I am sad about right now is I'm not in Farcoin in the challenge account. Okay, Farcoin, after the initial move up, we got stopped just in profits, right? Basically break even. And the thing is, again, when we actually got, so this circle, right? I gave these two entries originally saying, okay, these are the areas where I'd really be interested in. Our first entry was over here because we were very clearly front running this area, right? That was the area over here. We got that nice move up, made some nice money on it, and then came back down. But when this happened, again, guess what? No alerts, right? I'm not going to set limits. I didn't have limits, but I didn't have alerts either. I actually genuinely thought I had set alerts on this, but I hadn't. So it's what it is. And then, yeah, after this, I've just been like out of Farcoin, which sucks because that was a really good entry to then get the proper move up. But on the challenge account, I'm not in Farcoin. Like I'm not. In my main account, I still am, right? I have spot, I have swing. But on the challenge account, I'm afraid to say not in Farcoin anymore, guys. That's my bad. I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, I honestly thought I had the alert set up for this, but it turns out I hadn't. So, but apart from that, we have Nia breakout. Nia looks absolutely amazing. Again, at the deep 618. So this isn't an area where I would be buying until we see some sort of flip. But we're either looking for something like this or you're looking for something like this on Nia, right? Somewhere around here, these two areas to bid Nia now. But Nia, just understand where we were. right? Very key structure. 886s, 1.4 on 4s, deep gollies, butterflies. Nice reaction of it, right? So only again either the flip or the reclaim or the retest, sorry, rather the pullback and the retest for entries on there. Otherwise, I would just that's it. Like if you're not in, I wouldn't force buy, but if you currently are, okay, you just understand again you're buying out resistance if you force buy here. Pepe, I mean the original Pepe play is still intact. This never got stopped out, so Pepe still in play, still in on this on my main account. Primary projection, Pepe is going to do numbers in my opinion this cycle. Again, it's Pepe's not been around for a proper cycle, right? It hasn't been around for a proper old season. Remember what Doge did. Remember what SHIB did last cycle. The ones that's going to do that. I think Doge still does something similar, but the newer coins, Pepe, Apu, Bread, so on and so forth, right? I think these are the memes that really cast attraction, just like Pepe and SHIB did last cycle. So I think Pepe has absolute loads of gas in the tank, right? Pepe can do numbers. But I mean, apart from that, like for example, some of the coins I gave in the old section. This, for example, Aave, I literally gave as this was happening, right? Aave, we've literally gone above T2. We're nearly, look where we nearly are at on Aave, right? This is something actually I haven't updated yet. So if I go and just like one at a time, showing all the different entries, because hang on, I know I've got the Aave entry on my main account because I remember opening it as I gave that trade. Where is it? Aave, don't do this to me. I know it's open. Trying to pull my leg. It does this sometimes. It plays highs and seeks, so I have to scroll for ages to find it. There we go. So this right here is the Aave swing entry. Did that not go in? What the hell? Alright, I think it must be a Wi-Fi problem. Wait, can you guys still hear me? Yeah, I'm trying to send the Aave entry through, but it's just not going in. This is the third time I'm gonna try. Hang on, bro. Is Discord messing up, or is it just me? We'll look at Brett. We'll look at Brett too, bro. One sec. What the fuck? Right. Stop messing with me here. I think it's a Discord problem, to be honest, because my Discord is glitching out on my no, it's just everything's glitching out. Hang on, I'll wait for this to resolve and I'll send it. But Aave's really nice move up from the lows on the alts, right? So CRV. Fed hasn't really moved, but the original entry given is still safe. Aero, we've already talked about this, another one that's moved really nicely. Cow, another one that's moved really nicely, right? If you believe in ARB, Cow's going to do numbers. Link, right? Another one that's moved really nicely. Link looks beautiful. M shape to M shape, order block being filled, moves higher. For many of these, obviously the lows have been missed, right? So if the lows have been missed, the next thing we can do is either wait for the pullback to our key levels, in this case, for example, on Link, the 12-month buy seller zone mid, right? Or we, in this case, wait for that B point to flip, because we know if the B point flips, BAMM is acquired. Sorry, BAMM is activated, right? Bat action magnetic move. We'd also have a flip of type 1. So that can easily propel us to $22 very quick. So basically, on Link, you either wait for, I mean, we've technically already had the pullback to this, but if the weekly closes like this, we create a weekly buy seller zone here. You'd either wait for that pullback towards that sort of general area and for a structure to tell you that support is holding, or you would wait for that flip of the B slash the 382 in this case to look for that trade up towards $22 and to the 886, right? But so many alts, like, some have moved, of course, like, for example, Link has moved, Aave's definitely moved, CRV, another one, right? CRV's moved massively. Like this is curve. We talked about this a lot on stream. Like I shared this somewhere in crypto chat as well, right? We were saying literally falling wedge, breakout of the falling wedge with the retest. The retest was a bullish bat, 886 wave structure at the retest of this multi-year falling wedge with a smiley face. It doesn't get easier than that, right? So CRV was another beautiful entry, up 147% from those lows right over there, right? Currently at $1.01. And you know, just above T2, primary projections are $1.94, and that's literally only taking you to structure to stop all of these people out. And I'm going to be taking profits once we get towards those areas, of course, but you know, I'm not going to close everything until the actual trend shifts back to the downtrend, because if this flips into support, as you can imagine, then you have this move up towards 333, and then after that you have this move up towards 4, right? It can happen, right? Then you have this, and then of course the real move, fill the wick at 45. I don't know if obviously that's a bit of a hopium thing to say, but you know, even taking these highs out, that can be a lot of returns, right? On CRV. So again, do you enter coins like this? No. It's like, here's the thing, we talked about coins like these so much when they were happening, right? We signaled out everything. We signaled out their smiley face. We signaled out, okay, there's an 886. We signaled out, okay, falling wedge is being retested. You know, last lower high that led to the low lows being taken out, high lows coming in. All of these were mentioned as they were happening, right? The entries, we were talking about the entry triggers, what we're looking for to enter, what we're looking for to exit. All of those we've talked about live, right? As they were happening. So again, if now the trigger wasn't pulled when everything was lining up here, it's just, that's it, right? It's very difficult to now for me to tell you, okay, yeah, you should still go buy CRV after 147 pump in price. It's just not a good idea, right? So but there's still many alts, right? There's still many alts that that haven't moved, right? Don't think every single alt has moved, because you know, some alts have moved, sure, some haven't, right? That's the whole point. Some alts have moved, some haven't. So for the alts that haven't moved, for the alts that haven't had a big move, such as SWI, such as CRV, those are the ones you want to focus mainly on right now. Okay, and again, we looked at a few today. You know, if any new ones come up, of course, I'll be sharing those as well. There we go. Finally, RV on there, right? So the entry for RV, 144, right? So that was just about that red box, right? Just below that red box right there. That's literally when I give that signal saying, okay, look, RV looks absolutely amazing, right? We've hit all these structures. Trend is still to the upside. Trend is being respected. This is a good bid for a swing. Right, again, this was given ages ago. RV. This is the altcoin section. So now, you know, $436, $475, and then 576, 631. I'm just going to be holding until I see weakness coming in at those key levels. Right, but that is some of the coins. Apu, I really want to go over this because just understand why I'm in Apu, why I think this will be a good alt. Apu is a meme, it's a derivative of Pepe, right? It's a Pepe derivative, so everything, what was SHIB? SHIB was basically a Doge derivative, right? In the same way, Apu is a Pepe derivative. And remember what happened, at one point last cycle, SHIB had actually overtaken Doge in its market cap. So you know, like, here's the thing, you don't understand, once things go parabolic, and especially once retail starts coming in, right? If retail sees the meme coins are popping off, they're gonna jump in. Don't understand how much like just absolute dumb decisions are gonna be made. Everyone's gonna be piling onto this, bro. Bro, I remember, like, you know, back in 2020, back in 2021, back in 2020, so on and so forth, bro. Like, bro, my plug was talking to him about Dogecoin. It was showing me his, back then it was crypto.com, right? Showing me his crypto.com account, but it loaded up like a fresh, like, 6 figures, like, yo, bro, what should I put my money in, so on and so forth. Like, honestly, it gets crazy. It gets absolutely crazy, right? And, you know, the same thing happens this time, I'm gonna tell him, yeah, just buy some Apu, because this thing, just look at it. This thing looks absolutely insane. Rated the lows, reclaimed, just going sideways at the lows, right? Couldn't get more low risk than this. Buy this, new highs at some point. I don't know how high it can go. We could probably use lock to try and, you know, figure out how high it could go. In fact, let's attempt it. Let's do that. Let me do this, right? Let's create a group of drawings. Visible. Let's go to log. There we go. Where could Apu, sorry. Where could Apu go, right? So on log, we clearly have this. We're going to be extending past the 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to go put 1 to 2 1, right? 1 to 2 for students. Here's the high. Here's the low. We're simply looking for the 1.618. Let's keep it very, very simple. From where we currently are to the 1.618 is a 3,342% pump in price, and I would not even be surprised if it actually genuinely went and absolutely blew past that. Okay, like honestly, memes go absolutely crazy at the final leg of the bull run. Like you had to be there last cycle, right, to see how crazy SHIB was going, Floki was going, Doge was going, so on and so forth as they were popping off, right? Absolutely mental. Random coins that were popping up, you know, going absolutely crazy. A lot was happening. So Apu is one of my altcoins of choice. It looks very, very good, right? At the lows, like, you know, consolidating, making highs. You can see the very clear trend being respected. Eventually it's gonna break out, right? And that's just, I'm just buying until we go impulsive. Once you go impulsive, you just sell. Easy. Just watch your bids, right? Don't full clip in one trade. Give yourself room to breathe. This is a higher time frame we're talking about. But yeah, that's Apu, right? We can look at the bread chart as well, because someone asked about bread. Hang on, let's go and look at bread. Bread looks very, very good. Look at this. This looks, in fact, this is something you could just park spot in right now and forget about it. You buy spot and you just walk away. Put your bread in a cold wallet somewhere, forget about it. Put it in a Coinbase wallet, forget about it until like the end of the cycle. Because bread can absolutely do numbers, right? I would not be surprised if this thing went to $1 plus. I know that's the same thing as what people were saying about Doge, but even if it did what Doge did and it goes to somewhere around 70 cents, this is the hashtag one meme on base. Don't forget this, right? You know, people seem to have forgotten that narrative. This is still the biggest, this is going to be the biggest meme on base. Until something comes and dethrones it, it's got that first mover advantage. This will be the biggest meme on base. So bread will do absolute numbers. Bread chart looks absolutely insane. It looks good. That looks really, really good, right? So breads I'm in for a swing long. Apu I'm in spot, right? Pepe I'm in. Doge I'm in. And the other one was house coin, and that was a good shout because I am in some house coin too, because we hit something we were talking something that was given beforehand. We hit the deep godly, if I'm not mistaken. There we go, deep godly, right? In fact, we raided the deep godly, but now we've come and reclaimed it, so it's not even too late. What are you waiting for on house? We might get something like this, but as long as this channel area holds now, right? As long as you are within this red line, you're fine to bid house. Honestly, you're fine to bid house. In fact, this move up has literally been happening within the last hour. I was doing a stream somewhere else earlier, and we were literally at these lows when that was happening, right down over here somewhere. So honestly, house looks good. Yeah, house looks good. 886 has been hit. Again, not been tested in a full-blown bull market. You know, this could go put new highs in. You know, like, who knows? Maybe a 10x, maybe a 100x. Who knows, right? But yeah, house looks good. Again, something you could just low leverage swing or just spot and chill until that red line is lost. If the red line is lost, cut until it's reclaimed. Simple. Yeah. So that is house, right? Another one is launch coin. Launch. I'm in this. Where is it? It's on focus. Yeah, I think Launchcoin will still do numbers. Below this, we know what we're waiting for. Right now, I believe there's going to be like a line. Yeah, we're at a line here. So just be in buy mode, basically. Simple. Just be in buy mode. Like, as long as you're within this triangle and you're holding it, just bid some. Launchcoin, right here. Right, last lower high, the left lower low has been taken out. That much is obvious, right? On a low enough time frame anyway, because you can't see one on the daily. But if we go on the 4 hours, last lower high, lower low been taken out. High lows after high lows are coming in. Very easy area here to just spot it. You don't need to leverage this. Just spot it. If now you're in a position where you think, oh, I feel like with leverage is too much risk, then just don't use leverage. Just spot it. Right? Just use spot. And with spot, we can go. Obviously, you don't have to worry about liquidations. But Launchcoin looks good. Another one here. In a swing long for this one. So we have this. And if we do this, that's a 363. Not quite a 382 yet. So it's fine. Do you know what? I'll look at one more. What should we look at? In fact, yeah, there we go. Let's look at XRP. Let's go to log for this. XRP is best looked at on log. There we go. Boom. $3.61. Was there ever a doubt? That's the next target. 618 at $8.22. Right. Bull flag on log. The bull flag takes you up towards 14, 15. Of course, I don't know if it go up that high. Right. But the first target we were looking at was always $4 to $5.14, and we'll reassess after that gets hit. We'll reassess after that gets hit. How have I done this? Hang on, wait. No, something's wrong here. I have somehow messed up. I've messed up somehow. How have I done this? How have I done this? Oh wait, no, I've not. I'm just being stupid. This is just a simple trend-based fib extension. For a minute I was sat there thinking it's a fib retracement. I was wondering how the hell my one was floating off somewhere random. Honestly, fibs is like, this is one thing that ticks me off the most. Fibs is the most bastardized form of trading there is, bro. So many people do not know how to use fibs. They'll be plotting it randomly, right? They'll be plotting things randomly. They'll be plotting it to random, like, you know, they'll just be putting points in the ether and another points in another random space, thinking that is, you know, if you use fibs like that, that's definitely wrong, right? You need concise and clear points at which you're actually going to place your fibs. You need anchor points for your fibs to actually generate from. So many people sit there drawing, like, you know, absolute just psychedelic charts where their fibs make 0 sense, right? 0 sense. They're not plotted it to anything. They've not plotted it to like any swing high, swing lows, right? Any trend, like anything like this, right? Fibs always needs to be measurements. Fibs is literally based on measurements, right? So the ratio has to alert to something. So, sorry, a bit passionate there, but fibs is the most bastardized form of trading, which is why so many people say fibs don't work, because they see all these traders using fibs in hindsight and just in the middle of nowhere, right? Just randomly placing points. And of course, like, you know, I can understand why people say it wouldn't work. Just gives fibs a bad name when fibs is honestly the most powerful form of TA you probably have at your disposal. But $3.61, $6.57, $8.22, $11, $14.50. We could just keep spouting numbers. Right, above $3.61, it's going to be $6. Probably a 2x in price very, very quick. But no, yeah, XRP looks amazing, bro. It looks ready to just send. Absolutely send. Same with,
real quick.
Yeah, brother.
Do you mind taking a measured move from the previous price action in 2017 when it went parabolic? Do you mind just taking a measured move from there and then have it start from the breakout that we just saw of that wedge and see where it ends up? Nice. Oh my god.
$1,000 XRP.
If we get a measured move like that, yeah, that would. Oh my god. You can come. I'll invite you to my yacht.
Yeah. I'll be waiting for that. I don't know. What would the market cap of XRP be if it went to $1,000? That'd be ridiculous.
So I've seen some people that are much smarter than me talk about this, and when there's a lot of buying pressure, there's a multiplier of up to 200 to 500x on XRP. So literally something like a $50 billion buy can be upwards of 200 to 500x of that. So you're talking trillions. Mm-hmm. Market cap though of that, I haven't done the math on it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think this would be very moon boyish targets for me. Like, this would be the probability of this price hitting. Obviously, it's not impossible, but I think even if it were to hit, it wouldn't be in like this cycle, in my opinion, right? It wouldn't be this cycle. Yeah. So, never say never, but for now, I think the more realistic targets would probably be somewhere between $6 to $15 for this cycle before we probably roll over again. Because the measured move of the bull flag, the actual bull flag here would be somewhere around there. But I mean, if one day I wake up and XRP is at $1,000, then I can just, that's me. Probably my bloodline retired, so that'd be absolutely ridiculous. But But yeah, this is clean. This is very, very clean. Like we're looking at this, we're saying, look, we're bull flagging. We're very clearly bull flagging. Just wait for the breakout. Like we waited, we've got it. So the measured move of this is going to take us towards $8. Like I don't think $8 is like crazy for this cycle. I don't think it is. So let's see what happens. Like we've broken out of a multi-year falling wedge. That is to be expected in my opinion. So that is XRP. I have not looked at Bonk. Let's look at Bonk. I'll finish off with Bonk then. Let's go to Focus V2, and I'm gonna look at Bonk.
I just did a little math, and I'm thinking around $55 trillion.
If we went to 1,000.
Yeah, if it went to 1,000.
Yeah. This is on log still.
Possible if global adoption happens and it's used to move assets to asset. So it's possible, but I would think that they would lock out retail at that point.
Yeah, probably. No one's gonna win.
Yeah.
Sorry if you can hear me crunching, guys. I'm just eating some pomegranate seeds. Beautiful, right? Liquidity rate of range extreme. Liquidity rate of range extreme. Like I said, works. Doesn't matter if it's linear. Doesn't matter if it's log. Bonk looks insane. What the hell? Why have I got no Bonk? I've got some Bonk like derivative plays. I've been on chain like sleuthing a bit, but the actual Bonk chart itself, right? Let me go to normal. Damn. Oh, please, that's so painful. Are you serious? That would have been... Do you know what? I actually genuinely had a limit order for this 2.24 on Bonk. Now that I remember. I had genuinely had a limit order for this 2.24. Because it was a very confluential area. It clearly never got hit. What can I say? This is extremely powerful. What gave us this? I can see the lower time frame M shape already. Did we have a higher? Hang on. Do I have another chart? This is the problem with having multiple canvases. You forget what drawing you did where. Okay. Yeah, butterfly hop 1.44. We had a chop around that level, so I can delete this now. I can delete this. Okay, so that's what I had on Bonk. I had a buy seller zone down apparently. Not even a yearly. No, it was a yearly. It was the macro read right over here. Oh, that's beautiful. That would have been such a nice entry, bro. Like, literally, back in March of 20... It was not even that long ago. That's crazy, bro. Double bottom at macro read low. Basically, 2024 low. Double bottom. I'm genuinely pissed I didn't see that, because that is absolutely beautiful price action. Double confirmation that sellers tried to take control, but they couldn't, right? Straight up. You throw in order flow on top of that, I guarantee there's some... Yep, huge amount of aggressive selling going on. Trap traders don't even need to look at footprint charts. Oh, that was actually beautiful. And to top it off, by the looks of things, what you had here was a front run of a bat, right? Because that doesn't look like a 886. Nope. So yeah, you basically front run a bat over here. Well, I say that, but what you had was here. You had a deep butterfly as well. Not a deep butterfly, but rather you had the hop of a butterfly. Oh, that was beautiful, bro. Damn, I'm actually so salty I missed that. And also this. That's peak. Simple yet beautiful. Like, just back to back. Trap sellers. Trapped aggressive sellers. Double bottom at a yearly level to confirm strength. And then bullish structure to a high low. At the extension of the bullish structure to a flip of the yearly. Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, the next entry is probably going to come around like 30.58, right? You see that being flipped. Ultimately, even if you rate below, ultimately, as if that gets flipped to support, that's going to move you up higher. Leverage is going to be a friend here, in my opinion. I'll be looking for some leverage trades should that get, like, rated to reclaim. That's the only thing I can do to join in on this now. Bonk, I think, will do well, to be honest. I bet Bonk guy is absolutely laughing right now. let's see, do I have anything else at this particular area? Well, we know we didn't have any ABCDs that hit. This is messy. Even for me, this is going to be a bit difficult. So let's take a look. Bro, do you know what the peak thing is? Like, when we got airdrop Bonk, I was trading it like a madman in this range, right? And now when I look back, if I just held the Bonk airdrop hardcore, like, I'd be up like so much. It's actually ridiculous. Sometimes traders win, sometimes traders lose, man. It's a hard knock life, it's what it is. 786. I mean, it's not quite a deep Gartley. Yeah, the macro wave structure is all over the place, to be honest. But you could argue for a deep Gartley over here, or just a normal Gartley, sorry, over here as well. To that reclaim, that was a reclaim of the normal Gartley. But I'd probably go off this. I mean, ultimately, this looks good. I've missed the move of it. If anyone caught this, GG's, right? This has been a really, really nice move up. But if you do get a pullback, somewhere around here would be lovely. Back towards the mid. And if that happens, I'll get in. Here's the thing, on a monthly, if you do have, here's the thing, August is hit or miss, right? Sometimes in the halving years, post-halving years rather, August performs really well. Other times, August is absolutely terrible for returns. So if you do get a red August, next month we could get some of these, like, you know, monthly red candles pulling back before we get that next expansive move higher. If that happens, that's where we bid next. So right here is the zone. You're going to be bidding Bonk, especially at this lower region. If we get it, that's where you're paying attention to. Get a monthly smiley face, send it. Okay. But apart from that, yeah, absolutely beautiful catch, brother. Nice. Beautiful. Yeah, no, that's a beautiful catch. Did you get in on? Did you open this on your in your hedge fund as well, by any chance, bro? Yeah, nice, nice. I had a meeting earlier here, by the way, with my own friends who are in the hedge fund. So he talked to his dad today, and his dad said he's gonna put in 6 figures for now, just to begin with. He'll get some of his friends in too. Because basically I had a talk with his dad. You know, I showed him my portfolios, my challenge accounts. He was very impressed. He was like, yeah, I'm interested. Some of my friends are interested. So we can each put in like 6 figures each for the hedge fund. So we've got the money for my hedge fund in Hong Kong now. We've got the funds genuinely. We just need to do the paperwork. So once my friend goes back in August, he'll get all the paperwork sorted, and then that'll be my own place opened. Yo, thanks, brother. Thanks, man. I don't know if I've told everyone, but I was talking to Rai about this the other day. But yeah, because all my friends are graduated from uni now too, so everyone's free. But yeah, we'll go maybe like 3 to 5 years. I said just let me do my thing. I'll do a mix of scalps and swings on it. And not just trading crypto, but it's a conventional like crypto plus, you know, commodity stocks, so on and so forth. Anything that we can trade, I'll trade. And then once you have enough funds, what we really want to move into, we really want to move into properties. So, you know, getting our properties, buying our properties in Hong Kong, because it's so profitable in Hong Kong. Like hardly anyone in Hong Kong owns properties. It's all rent, right? So we just absolutely go start buying our apartment blocks and then just collecting the rent money. Easy. Yeah. And after that, I want to expand out. But for now, just, you know, investments plus property. That's the first. Not yet, bro. Not outside funds. I just want to do it. I just want to do it with our own capital first, because that's going to be way more legitimate, right? We show them, look, we put our own money in, and of course, you know, familial money as well. So from family and friends. I've got some RL friends who are interested. So, you know, they're going to be joining in too. But after we raise that, that's when, you know, I only want to get external investors in once I have a solid, like, you know, 3 to 5 years of just look how much I've. They were saying I want a annual minimum 20% return, right? They were like, if you give me 20% return annually, I'm happy. And I was thinking like I could do that in like one session, just scalping, probably. So yeah, it's easy money, like easy 20% annual return. Like, are you having a laugh? Could do that with my eyes closed. So yeah. So 3 to 5 years, just doing that, and then after that, progress on to like getting raising external capital, and then after that, move into properties as well. Um, but the main reason I wanted to do it, literally, like I didn't really have any plans of starting my own hedge fund or anything. But I was talking to my friends, and it's a bit of a luck thing as well, because like many of my friends from Hong Kong, right, they come from well-off families, right? A few of my friends' fathers literally own hedge funds there already. Um, so like it was fairly easy to actually get connected to like the right people in the space, right? Like it would have been very difficult if I didn't know anybody at all. Um, but since they since they already own there, it's just like much easier to actually get it done. And which means like as soon as my friend goes back, and we get the like business registered and set up, I can open up a business account in Hong Kong, which means I do not have to pay UK tax, and that is the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to. Because bro, the amount that I would get taxed if I was to cash everything out right now is absolutely unholy. Like just for it to go to, I don't know, like foreign wars again, right? They can't even fix the potholes down the street from me. It's been there for like 10 years. NHS is overburdened. Our veterans are not looked after. The workers aren't looked after. Our, we're so service focused. We've got no industry, and yet they want to tax that much. It's absolutely ridiculous, bro. It's just so bad. So yeah, I would not mind paying taxes if I knew that the taxes was benefiting this country, but it's only helping in bringing in, like it's yeah. Don't want to get deep into it and make this political, but like I would proudly wear the tax as a badge of honor if I knew it was doing well. It's just not. So why would I just make some bozo rich, right? Hell that. Getting out of the UK. Yeah, for sure, bro. It's getting cooked. Solo lock chart. Yeah, sure, bro. Right of a burn. Damn. Yo, sub bed shaker. How you doing, brother? Hope you're well, man. Welcome in, bro. Okay, let's look at the solo chart. But yeah. So I've got a meeting, and I'm gonna go up to Nottingham on Sunday. We're gonna look at some of the paperwork that needs to be done. What else we need to look at, and then we're just gonna take it step by step. A lot of paperwork to be done, to be honest. But it'll be worth it at the end. Oh, this looks good. This looks very good. Damn, this thing's been accumulating for years, bro. What the hell? I swear we looked at this before as well. That's the crazy thing. Where did we look at it? Oh my god, bro. We were genuinely looking at this like, oh, the crap could hit, and I've got no entries on this, bro. I need to actually burn myself with a cigarette butt or something every time I forget to put an alert on, because I remember doing this live with you. Damn, bro, that was that was easy money. What the hell is wrong with me? Yeah, this is going to 61 cents. There's nothing more. There's no, actually, in fact, there's nothing stopping it. This is going to 61 cents. And then at 61 cents is probably where I get a next shot. If I'm lucky enough with the pullback, I would bid this around here somewhere. Around here. But if we don't get that pullback, there's nothing more stopping it going to 61 cents. And above that, log's your best friend, because the only thing you really have is this first. Right? I don't even need to do any fancy. I don't need to do my own form of TA on this. We can literally just look at the chart. Above 61 cents is $1.98, and then after that, we can talk about all-time highs pretty much, right? $6. There's literally nothing on the left. Just take a look. Crazy. Like, you have some fair value gaps, right? If we were to take a deeper look at it, but I'll do a deeper analysis on this after we break above that 8 point, because I think that's gonna happen very soon. Damn, man, I'm actually so pissed, bro. That's actually such a piss take. Yeah, I need to have one of those. Is it Game of Thrones? If you guys watched it, but they're like shame, and you get whipping down the street. I need to do that to myself, because that was to the point. Like 1.618 to deep quality. We were saying that is the PRZ right here. Damn, bro. I remember doing this. Like I genuinely remember doing this with you too. That's the one. Yeah. Shame.
So this actually has some good tech behind it. They're focused on tokenizing the industries,
Yeah,
like companies that already have common stock and whatnot.
yeah,
And so if they make that merger, if they pick Solo to do that, and they make that merger, and I can see this thing mooning.
absolutely
I
mooning.
was
No, you're
looking,
completely right. Yeah, that's
I was
a
looking at
heck of a
I was
utility.
looking at fibs and the log, and like, yeah, first golden pocket is $33, and the negative 618 is $123.
Right, let's take a look at this. Right, so the way I look at this is from here. All-time lows over here, so we go with the absolute macro. We go past the zero, which means we also had 764 confluence at that low, 62 cents, 0.5. So if I do this and then I go negative, so we're talking 0 to 1 inverse, we go from low to the high. Well, yeah, I mean, you're completely right, bro. I mean, like, negative 618 at $123. Even forget even about that, right? If you just liquidity rate the all-time highs, that's still a heck of a move from, especially like if you got in at those lows, that would have been a 3,000, 4,000% move. Shallow golden pocket, yeah, this has a lot of legs, lots of legs. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to roll some more profits over into this thing if it hasn't moved yet. But
yeah, I think
so far I've got a decent entry bag, and yeah, if we try to do any sort of retesting in the area where we just broke out of,
yeah.
then
Well, this is very nice vertical accumulation. Typically, what happens is one or two things, right? Well, after you see vertical accumulation, look for two scenarios. The first scenario is, and this is for entries, because obviously the scenario where you just blast off is not going to give you an entry. So for entries, you have two scenarios. After vertical accumulation, you blast off, followed by the retest to the top of your vertical accumulation, because everyone thinks, oh, we're going to go and take those lows, but they don't do that. Right? Those are protected. You just go to the top of your vertical accumulation, retest and go. So that'd be the first scenario look for. The second scenario is a full raid of the entire vertical accumulation zone, right? So you'd raid all the way down to the low somewhere here, reclaim and then go. I'd hope for this because obviously that'd be a greedier entry, but even if we don't get it, we might not get it. We might keep going up, something like this, hit the primary projection, and then after that come back to retest the vertical accumulation zone, right? So if you get something like that, I'd bid. But looking at log, this right here would be absolutely beautiful entry if we were to get it. This right over here, retest the 618 to support, break up at some point, come back down, maybe do this. If you get some sort of smiley face here in the future, I will definitely bid. You know what, before I forget, there, yeah, let me do it slightly above so I can't get front run here. Boom, look at that. Kaizen, guys, continuous improvement, always improve. Today I put a alert down, but yeah, no, that looks very, very good. That looks insanely good, to be honest, because this thing is extremely new. It's not really been tested in a full, actually wait, well no, that's a lie. It's not the newest coin, but the main thing here is, bro, the accumulation. Like, this thing never really sold off. There is someone out there that has been absolutely buying this entire time. They're not letting the lows get taken seriously, right? So we know someone out there knows something, they're buying this up. So insane move up to reprice, and then yeah, nice move up. Damn, maybe we get blessed with some sort of like, double bottom structure or even pull back here. A part of me really does wish for like a little bit of chop, even if it's not quick, like a flash crash in August, and then if we get a flash crash, I think a lot of bids would get filled on this. But yeah. A few more things before I end up today, guys. A couple stocks for you, some more stocks, right? LMND, not doing bad, still doing well. Neo, nice move up. I was in the red for a bit, I'm back in the green now. Baba, this thing's always been up. Like this one I gave when I was in AR specifically, right? Because the original entry was literally back in like 2023. But AR, I mean, Baba's still up 2x, right? At the peak it was up 2x from entry. Still up in the green right now. I've not added anything to this. Adam, if you look at this, Unity software, we finally got the breakout. all we need at some point is a retest. If that happens, Unity has legs, okay? Up to $76 in my opinion. Legs. Because just like ETH, accumulation, there is your manipulation, there is your distribution. Right? So Unity software looks good. Do you know what actually? Because Adam talks about this all the time. Let me just do that, and let me go to stocks, and I'm just gonna go and tag him. Hang on. Someone put something in P&Ls. Nice. My bro Jack's on holiday right now, but murking it. Right, where's stocks? AMC, yeah. I was gonna say AMC is another one that looks really, really good. So let me go over here. Oh wait, Leo put something, so let me check him. I'll check these out. Let me just write this. There we go. Okay, yeah. That looks good, guys. Unity software. But honestly, don't fade stocks. Okay, I know crypto looks absolutely ready to go, also look ready to go, but stocks, you can still make a lot of money with stocks. Okay. For anyone that missed out completely on the Cocoa Futures run, the gold run, and also the Nvidia run, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Bitcoin, only thing going up and sideways was Bitcoin. You could have made so much more money being in stocks. So please don't think crypto is the only way you can make money, right? Stocks, you can make loads of money with stocks as well. Soon, someone who requested this, was it still Adam? Like most of my stock recommendations come from Adam, so yeah, that doesn't look bad. Still a resistance, so not interested over here. Oracle, I know Will, you're in this one. Absolutely insane moves up on this, crazy. Reddit, this is one I was looking at. Reddit, we hit a bearish butterfly, right? Bearish butterfly. So if we get 130 breakaway gap fill, I think Reddit would be a nice buy. Because if the breakaway gap is lost, then you'll be looking at T2. Right, but you know, your type 1 would literally be at your 382. You could fill the breakaway gap, get a type 1, maybe to like a type 2 return, and if you get a double top, then maybe you get a deeper crash on Reddit. Otherwise, Reddit would be a, you know, if this fills and it holds and buys defend T1, then you know that could give you like a nice T2 reaction back to the upside. So Reddit would be a nice bid down at that T2 area, right? Yeah, every day is like Christmas with Oracle. Yeah. Estee Lauder, I already gave the signal for this. I think it looks absolutely cracked, right? This looks huge. So you know, begin that pullback now. Wherever the high low might come in, I'm just gonna bid some. So two new ones I'm interested in looking at, right? So I heard this being mentioned in Mitch Ray's stream like a few days ago. So I did my own TA on it, looked at it, and I was thinking, yeah, these look really, really good. So I thought I'd do my own TA on this. First is LAC, okay? Lithium Americas Corporation looks absolutely insane. 382, 2.618, right? Not hit the 2.618 yet, but you're within the 2.24, 2.618 zone. Down over here, you've got the bat, right? You've got the 2.618 of the bat, you've got the 886 of the bat with the type 2 return. Like you're breaking out. Even if you go and just like, you know, flip the resistance to support, or you come down and flip 2019 high into support, lithium corporations, this can absolutely run. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, do not be surprised if at some point you hear some absolute bullish news coming out for Lithium Americas. Right? If you hear some absolutely bullish news coming out, just know the chart's already told you this thing looks ready to run. Okay. So, lithium. First is LAC, Lithium Americas Corporation, right? So let me just go and put these on the stocks chart as well. So Control V and then here. And then I'm going to go ahead and just put the targets down in terms of the harmonics. A down to D, settings. Let's make this easy for you guys. Don't need extra levels right now. Let's keep it simplistic. Right over there. Actually, this is going to be LAC. Macro looks good. Went over in stream. Don't be surprised if they drop good news for this baby. There we go. I'll put that down, right? LAC. I should do like a stocks ping in it. I'll do a stocks ping and then I'll do a crypto ping. And the other one, right? I've already said this multiple times. I think Chinese markets are going to boom, right? I think Chinese stocks are going to do really well. Neo, right? Baba. Another one, Ehang Holdings, right? I cannot buy this from my broker right now, which sucks because otherwise I would have bought this like a few days ago. But just look at the macro for this. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to pull wave structures. I don't need to draw fancy lines. You can just look at this and you can see what's going on, right? Above is 200-day moving average on the weekly. Above is 200-day moving average on the exponential moving average as well, right? So both the 200 and the, one sec, let me just see, it's both 200. So I've got sorry, the yearly, the 200 and the 50, right, above everything. I believe that's what we call a golden cross, where the 50 crosses the 200. I might be wrong, right? I'm not an EMA trader. I just use it for confluence on the macro. But honestly, Ehang Holdings, this looks good. This is what dreams are made of. You're looking for this, man. You're looking for 73% after a breakout, 157%. Just understand above that it's 441%, and then potentially new highs in the future. I'm so used to crypto, I'm thinking, oh, this could happen by the end of the year. Of course, probably not. But it's still, even on a stock, right? On a stock, even 76% return. That is amazing, right? So another one is EH. This looks absolutely insane. I think this looks very, very nice. So, right over here. EH, simple view, looks like the stuff of dreams. Okay, so that's two new stocks to, you guys can indulge in should you choose to do so. Okay. So I know we kind of went slightly away from stocks a bit, right? Here's a penny stock for you all. Actually, I don't want to call this a penny stock, but this thing's been absolutely hounded to the ground, right? So someone asked me to do this earlier. It looks crazy because here's the crazy thing. On a real, this is no meme. If you get above 13, 23. If you get above 23, 34. If you ever get above 34 on this chart, like, you have nothing until 117. I'm not even joking. It's actually ridiculous. Like, the chart for this is insane, right? So that's why I'm keeping an eye on it. But Ether 3.5. Let's take a look. Yeah, I keep pushing it up. 3581. I want 3,770 mid of the KFA. My favorite area in the world. If not, just honestly, I want to wake up to 4.7. Right? Absolutely shut out the bears. What a meme. There we go. Those, like, have you seen the one with like Keanu Reeves and stuff, bro? It's so funny, man, honestly. Vitalik though, like, honestly, bro, he's a bit scary, man. Reminds me of an alien. I wouldn't be surprised if he was one of the Greys. But yeah, ETH nearly to target. Deep, nice move up. Deep's gonna go, bro. This thing's gonna rip. Like, this thing wants to go. It's like a pit bull that's training against the leash, right? The only thing holding it back is this master. LDO, popping. Let's go. Come on. ETH beta's rotating. Beautiful. I think this is actually happening as we've been streaming today. Yeah, 8, nice little move up. Yeah, this is gonna go. LDO. Haidal, we looked at that already. Yeah, anyway, that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over today myself. Philcoin. Phil looks good. Off that low we were looking at, right? The least offensive area on the chart, sort of. Reclaim this. Just understand. Look where you're coming to. Phil isn't even too late. Reclaim that level. Phil, you're working with a very, very big range, right? This might not have been pumped that hard, right? But even just to like this, 62%. Up over here, 123. Just up to range highs again, like 300%, basically, right? And these aren't even like, fabulous targets. We're literally just working range bound. There's so many coins that look good, bro. There's so many. Absolutely a lot of coins that look amazing. But if you guys think of any other coins, right? Or you want me to look at any other ones, of course, put in chart requests. I'll get to it when I can. Yeah, we'll do more, bro. George, we'll do more. But if not, then yeah, we'll do more of these in the future, especially as things really start heating up. I'll be doing more and more streams, right? That's what the value is going to be for you guys, right? If, for example, if we start going absolutely parabolic on the charts, I'm probably going to actually scale back the frequency of the one-on-ones with everyone, simply because I could do one-on-ones with every person, or we could just do more group streams while the market's actually giving us the green, and just utilize it maximally, right? And whenever the market dies down again, you know, one-on-ones are going to resume anyway. It's not going anywhere. So if markets start really heating up, I'll prioritize doing group streams like this, just doing longer streams, some live scalping, so on and so forth, over like one-on-ones and stuff. And like, you know, whenever the market dies down, honestly, I think the latest is going to happen is Q1 next year. There's not much time left. People think, oh yeah, you know, we've got loads. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. Once you go parabolic, you have a few months and you're done. That's it, right? So for now, my time frame is basically by Q4. I think majority of the move will be done. Hopefully, also will have gone parabolic by then. And if we get a choppy August, then maybe, like, you know, like I said, like January next year, something like this. But by then, I'm looking for BTC to top out. Hopefully, I've already entered some swing short positions on BTC and a few other alts that popped, and we'll just ride the wave down, right? Same as we did on the way up. We'll just shift from bullishness to we'll shift to bearishness. That's it. Yeah, that's it, right? Because like I said, one-on-ones, group classes, they're not going anywhere. It's still going to be in this server, but how much green you get, like in a really euphoric parabolic phase in the market, don't come often. So if we get it, I feel like it'd be better for us to just collectively prioritize that over like one-on-ones, and then just resume the one-on-ones whenever we die down again. Because trust me, when it goes to like, I don't know if you guys were here when Bitcoin started dropping from 69k to 15, bro, everything's dead. Like, we were going from like booked out streams, we needed to have like 4 restreams, 300, 400, 500 people per stream, to like 4 regulars. Like, everyone goes away when it's the bear market. No one's around because most people just get wrecked, right? They lose hope. So when it's that quiet, obviously we'll have loads of time in the world to do all the one-on-ones we want. So if we start going parabolic, I'll just prioritize group streams. Yeah. But yeah, guys, that'll be it from me today. It's been a fairly long stream, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Right? I just wanted to do a lot of volts, so on and so forth. So what I'll do is, if you guys have no other questions, I'll stop this here. And you know, would we do this again, right? Don't worry, we'll do this again. So and if something crazy happens again, I'll just hop on again. So, but okay, let me ask: is anyone still fully sidelined? We're all friends here. You can be honest. Okay, no, that's good, bro. Yeah. If you're not comfortable, you don't have to go all in. But having this is the same thing I've been saying for ages and ages and ages now. Having exposure at these lows is going to be very, very helpful. Okay. Just understand, like, we've had some nice moves up. Like, leverage flush is always going to happen, right? No one can predict when they're going to happen. They're going to happen at some point with accuracy, but they will happen. Especially as we start getting more and more moves to the upside. That the moves down are going to be severe, right? So, just a heads up. Just because we have green ahead doesn't mean it's going to be green only. Leverage flushes are very much a real thing in a move up. But yeah, you know, the same thing I've been saying, right? That obviously the best time to buy was when we were talking about it adamantly, like week on week, multiple times, like a few months ago. Second best time is going to be now, basically, right? This is what it is. So yeah. Okay, guys, so that's going to be it from me today. Long one, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. And if you have any other questions, just ping me. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys soon. Yeah? No problem, guys. My pleasure. My pleasure. All right, bye.